the babe. Babe with the power. Power of voodoo. You do. Remind me is the babe. Quiet! A goblin babe. Well...
Welcome to another episode of the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's the Nerdy Podcast hosted by Northern Nerds. I'm one of your hosts, Sam.
And I'm the host, Paul. And this week we are joined by Team Podcasts, Charlotte and Grant. So it's been a while, I think, since you two's been on together as well. Like I say, I'm looking forward to getting Sam all hot and bothered and embarrassed again, which normally happens.
Always happens when Grant's on.
I do apologise if I don't make any much sense in this episode. I am still coming down off COVID, so it should be an interesting episode, to say the least.
Yeah. Do you want to tell them what it is?
Well, if I haven't worked out by the screenshots and what the layout, it's top 5 fantasy films, which was probably the easiest top 5 pick, which out of all of them I've not struggled with for a long time, so this one was quite easy. And I know, Charlotte, yours was a bit the same, was it, as me?
Yeah, I think I've only changed like 2 of my choices. It was the easiest one, I think.
But yes.
Definitely easier than Disney in 90s.
Sam's shaking her head in disagreement there.
Oh, I'll get into it later. So I'm just going to get the naff part out of the way with first. So everything discussed in tonight's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you want to discuss anything from tonight's episode, please come and join us on the Facebook group and we can have an open discussion. What we won't have is anyone coming for us or me and telling us our opinions are wrong. We can agree to disagree in fandoms. Let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Well done there. I think
Thanks.
that's the best you've done it.
And I didn't look at the last line as well, so I'm shocked I managed to say the word toxic.
And just before we get started as well, I just want to say a special thank you to some special idiots that, like I say, in the Nerdy Up North group. It was my anniversary yesterday, and unfortunately we couldn't do anything. And some twats decided to invade my house and the most inappropriate presents I've had in a long time. To be fair, the bottle of wine went pretty quick, so that wasn't a bad thing. But yes, thank you, you arseholes.
I think me and Charlotte will speak for the collective. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Just maybe next time don't get the Chuckle Brothers to do any
No.
next time.
No. I still have images of Donna like running down the street laughing. Like, it's going to stay in my memory bank for a while.
The poor little wanking fairy there.
So we're going to kick off fantasy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm not going first.
All right. Grant, would you like to go first? I'm quite interested to see what your first pick's going to be.
Why not? I'm tempted to throw one of my top 5 out there that I reckon all 4 of us have got, just so we can get the discussion out of the way. If you guys don't have this in your top 5 fantasy, then we can't be friends.
Okay.
I think it might be the one
Princess Bride.
It's the one I took out because I knew Grant would have had it.
It's the one I don't have it. Charlotte, you?
It's one of the ones I bumped because I figured that somebody else was going to pick it.
All right, that'll do.
It was in my top 5, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
No bullshit. It is one of my favourite films of all time. But I knew for a fact how much Grant loves this film, and we've talked about it a few times from the times drinking in the borough. So I would be surprised if he didn't have picked this film. And it's got fucking Andre the Giant, dude. So what do you want? But yes, take it away.
Well, I mean, I suppose if I'm going to be the only person speaking about it, in a discussion that kind of fucks this. I mean, it is. It's the film that has everything. You know what I mean? It's got action, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. So you get some comedy elements. You've got a beautiful romance story in it. You've got catchy lines that stay with you for the rest of your life. You know, inconceivable. And you killed my father. Prepared. Like everybody knows this film off one or two lines.
Oh, yes.
You know, as you wish. It's phenomenal.
It's magical. I think that's the best way I can describe it as well. Just because it shouldn't work. In many ways, it shouldn't work because it's over the top. The cast is bizarre. Like say from like even the main cast. He's like at the time he was probably so lovable, and he's played some interesting roles since then. But like it had everything. It had Zorro vibes with like the mask and everything, and like the six-fingered man and the hunted down. Was it? I'm trying to think. Was it a Mel Smith film as well? Was it? I'm sure you had something to do with it.
Mel Smith's in it. Mel Brooks.
Not Mel Brooks. Because it was like what's it called? It used to be like the comedians on the BBC.
Oh, Smith
Elliot Smith and Jones.
Smith and Jones.
Yeah.
Mel Smith's in it. He's the little dungeon crawler thing from when he gets tortured.
Yeah. Oh no, but I'm sure he had something to do with the writing of it as well. I could be wrong.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But it because it was a very American like budget film, but was written very British as well, like the jokes and the comedy. And as you said, like Andre the Giant won WrestleMania weekend as well, so it's a great one to kick us off with having a wrestler. And I don't think Andre the Giant played many other decent roles. Might be blasphemy to saying that, but yeah, absolutely amazing film. And
sorry to interrupt, but the screenplay was wrote by William Goldman and it was directed by Rob Reiner.
Oh,
Did
right.
not know that.
William Goldman.
I knew it was Reiner.
I'm sure William Goldman wrote the book.
Yes, you are right.
Even
ding,
the fact
ding,
that
ding,
they incorporated the book into it as well, you know, with the kid being sick, you know, I don't know, Charlotte might be a little bit young, but I reckon the three old gadgies on this show can all relate to the fact that we're all about the same age as Kevin Savage. Is it Kevin Savage?
Fred Savage.
Yeah,
Fred Savage.
The Wonder Years, yes.
Yeah. We were all about his age when this movie came out, you know, the same as, well, I won't mention the other film I was about to mention there in case anybody has it.
It's been some time since I've seen it, mind. I remember watching it as a kid, but I can't say I've seen it as an adult.
I think they've just done
I watch it yearly.
Yeah, I think they've just done a cleaning up version as well, because I think it's just either came out or coming out in 4K. So it's had a bit of a restoration, but it's still beautiful.
Yeah.
Like say, if you look at some of the cast in it as well, like Billy Crystal's in it. Like you don't even think that.
Robin Wright's in it.
Yep, Robin Wright. But
Jack Skellington's in it.
What's
the guy that plays the guy that plays Humperdinck, the guy that voices Humperdinck the guy that voices Jack Skellington when he's just speking is Humperdinck out of Princess Bride as well.
Ah, yes. But the one that always caught me, because like I say, I forgot what the show is called, but it was the one with Claire Danes in Homeland. When that came out, the guy Mandy Patinkin. I couldn't believe that he was like say Ego Montoya.
He's also Gideon in Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
Yes,
he left Criminal Minds because it was too much for serial killers to then go on and do Homelands. Like, come on.
To be fair, though, Homeland should have been a one season and done show. To be fair.
Yeah.
But
on Princess Bride, did anybody see the lockdown version?
No.
Okay, so during lockdown, like the first when we were properly locked down, you know, nothing was open and stuff. Loads of people in Hollywood kind of connected with each other through Zoom and decided to refilm The Princess Bride, but themselves while they were in lockdown.
Oh wow! I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Like you've got changing roles and what have you. So like the bit with Humperdinck up on the castle is Hugh Jackman standing on a lifeguard tower in Australia with his dog ball on his head for the fucking crown. the bit where Wesley is climbing up the cliff, you know, the bit that, you know, oh, will you throw me the rope? Or, you know, that whole skit that they do where he's hanging from the cliff. That's Jack Black climbing up his fucking stairs in his house with a black mask on and his underpants.
That's amazing.
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna have to look that up as well. I know they did a few videos during lockdown. Like, see, I love the George and the was it George and the Giant Peach with
James and the
George's Marvelous Medicine.
They did James and the
Taika
Giant.
Waititi.
He did James and the Giant Peach.
That was it, James and the Giant Peach. But it had like, say, all the different cast from like the Avengers one week. That had like Chris Helmsworth. But some of the people that they got on, it was absolutely hilarious. But no, I'm gonna check that out. So thanks for giving that a shout, Dak. And I'm gonna probably check it out this week because, as Grant said, I normally watch The Princess Bride probably once a year. There's always the time for The Princess Bride because it's ageless. A film with a very little, I would say, special effects. It uses all practical effects and so on. It just works so well to a degree that if they even thought about remaking it, I think it's one of them, like up there with the Goonies and Stand By Me, where I would fucking riot if they start trying to do that. I know multiverse shit this, but no, it don't.
Oh no! There's some things that don't need touching. They're perfect as they are.
There's rumors every like 6 months or something that they're going to remake it, and people just go nuts. And they're like, no. So they just give up on the idea.
It's got a hell of a cast, mind. Like Carol Kane, Peter Falk, like bloody Columbo's
Carol
in
Kane.
there.
I forgot about Carol Kane.
Marguerite Mason's in there. Mel Smith. My God, I'm gonna have to watch this. I have seen it. Oh, I have seen it. I do remember watching it as a kid. I've just never watched it as an adult.
I was going to say, we're going to get Michaela jumping on saying, Sammy!
You're a fucking embarrassment!
It sounds really stupid, but I didn't realise how big Andre the Giant was until I saw this film.
I mean, it's in the name.
I knew he was like big, but because you always saw him against wrestlers who aren't exactly small anyway, I guess.
Yeah.
Like seeing him with sort of normal sized people was like, oh, he's massive. And I was a kid when I saw it.
To be fair, though, you're tiny. You wouldn't be even the size of his hand.
That is
probably so like true. The size of his arm.
To be fair, though, you could probably cosplay as the Princess Bride, having Kev as Andre the Giant. You can either be like sorry, Kev.
He's gonna love this.
He can just carry her about.
You do realise you're seeing him next Saturday.
I'll neck on one then as well, so don't worry.
Be meant if he just wanders round from behind a pillar or something and goes, I can kill you now.
Yeah, that's going to be the line. Sorry. But yes. But I think, as you said, all of us except Sammy were going to pick this one. So that's why I think it actually came off my top 5 list, I would probably say about an hour before we went live. Just because as well, the one I changed up, I didn't really realise it was kind of like a fantasy film. So when I read the description, I was like, yep, that's going on. I can't not talk about it because it's a fun one. But yeah, so many good memories though. But that's the thing. I love this film because it reminds us of so many people. Like say, I can't mention The Princess Bride. He'll probably fucking kill us. He'll not listen to this. But Leighton, he just reminds us so much of, like say, the Andre the Giant's character in The Princess Bride as well. Like the lovable oath. That's like say,
absolutely, mate. I couldn't agree more.
But yes, sorry, Leighton. Please come on the podcast one day.
Please, Leighton. Don't listen to Paul.
But yeah, so good first pick there. Good show. I think it was a good starting point. So who wants to go next? So should we let Charlotte's Feet go next?
Hashtag Charlotte's Feet. Does herself no favours. Sending photographs with her feet in them.
Honestly, when I sent that this afternoon, I did not care. Like,
stop giving a shit.
So my first pick, I don't know if anybody else will have it. It came out in 1981. It again has an amazing cast and is a Ray Harryhausen film.
Oh.
Clash of the Titans?
Oh, no, I don't, but
Yes,
good
very
choice.
Yes.
Damn you.
This is where Charlotte's like, I'm dropping the mic today. No one's fucking with me. No one's getting these picks. Yeah, wow. I was terrified of this as a kid.
Yeah, same.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I think, like, I'm a massive, massive fan of mythology, Greek mythology, Norse mythology. Massive, massive fan. I think this is probably what kicked it off. Because I saw it when I was quite young. Because it was one of my dad's favourite films.
Yeah.
So.
I thought it was earlier than the 80s as well, because it
Yeah,
did
me
have
too.
a bit of a 70s vibe.
It was 81, so early 80s.
It was probably made in the late end of the 70s.
Yeah.
But I get that one and Jason and the Argonauts mixed up with each other
Well, there was a few round
all
about
the time.
Yeah, there was a few round about the same time. There was Jason and the Argonauts, Clash of the Titans, and Sinbad and the Seven Seas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was at the Seven Seas, or it was something to do with the tiger, wasn't it?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the right name, but I definitely know what you mean. I love this film. This is a proper Sunday afternoon film.
Yeah.
It was always on Channel 4. Always.
And now they just show the remake. And it's not
I won't watch that.
It has its merits, but there's elements of Clash of the Titans that you couldn't like take away from. I'm gonna forget its name, but I love the owl. The owl.
I've got it written down.
Was it
Bubo?
Bubo, because Archimedes was the owl in Sword in the Stone.
Sword in the Stone.
That's
yeah.
why I used to always get them mixed up. But just the noises it made, like say it was so addictive to watch as well. You wanted more, and I know they had a little glimpse of it, but I think, as Charlotte said, when it comes to Greek mythology and stuff like that, I don't think a film has done it as well or as close, other than Hercules, the Disney animation. But that was for another reason, shall we say?
Totally.
Hercules wasn't close to the. Hercules made Zeus look nice.
True.
That's true. That is very true.
Majara is a bit of a twat as well, to be honest.
but like, let's get to the monsters though. Like, even though they were made out of plasticine, fucking hell.
They were
Who
brilliant.
cares though?
That Medusa was terrifying.
Yes.
That's the one scene that the remake gets wrong. I think it takes the darkness and the fear out of Medusa's scene and tries to turn it into like the chase, and it's fast and all the rest of it. And
Yeah, that's not what scared
she's like
us.
Jason Voorhees or fucking Jason Mike Myers coming after them just slowly. It's so suspenseful. Oh, I love that movie.
She was like, it was almost mesmerizing.
Yeah,
I can still picture it today in my head, and it was like she made it so fascinating. And then
And he's got the shield and he's like looking around the corner
Yes!
and you don't quite see her until the end.
oh my god, I need to watch this film again. I'm getting so excited. You know what? At the moment, I'm totally into mythology. Like, so you've got the Norse mythology one, but I just love it. Like, I am so into it at the minute. Thank you, Vikings.
Trying to think of the names of the people though as well, because like this one I watched religiously as a kid, but I probably haven't watched in probably about 5 or 6 years.
The horse can bark. Oh, bless.
But yeah, because like there was the beast as well. That was was it
Minotaur?
No, it was Aphrodite's. No, was it not Aphrodite? Someone's son who was meant to wed.
It was Maggie Smith's character. It was her son.
Yeah, and basically
Barabbas, is it?
Barabbas.
Barabbas or something like that.
Something. But
Begins with a B.
Well, you had to get the ring with the 3 suns or the 3 moons on or something like that. So he could, because that was the riddle that they used to do each day. But then Pegasus, and then she was taken to the swampland and stuff. But that was just so like intense. That was the word and thing. 'Cause these films, as again, would probably be the theme of like a lot of the fantasy films that we're going to talk about. They shouldn't work as well as they do, because like say they are out there and like takes your imagination to places where probably kids these days, and again I'm probably generalizing a little bit, don't get to do it as much because they get shown too much these days.
Yeah.
Or
Because it's like there's like a blueprint for it now. And whereas when we were younger, it was, you had to, I don't know, I know exactly what you mean. It's just really hard to describe it without coming across as a dick.
Because you had to suspend a bit of belief.
Yes.
Because CGI wasn't the thing, and like when you're seeing Pegasus fly and it looked like sketchy, but it's like when we mentioned seeing the original Christopher Reeve Superman. As a kid, I believed a man could fly. So these days, when you see Henry Cavill flying about, it looks too real and too fake at the same time. Kind of
takes you out of it. Like a lot of films do that nowadays, takes you out of it. But when you're watching like the likes of Clash of the Titans, you're just so drawn into, how did they do that?
Yeah.
How did they manage to do that? Like, they shouldn't be able to do that. Like, and that's what I love about practical effects. It totally makes you question everything of what is actually possible. And I love it. I am watching that film this week.
And if you love these type of films, I'm sure it's still there. If it's not, I apologise. But Edinburgh at the moment, Edinburgh Museum's got a rehousing exhibition on. So you can go and see all the like the Clash of the Titans plasticine models, Jason and the Argonauts and stuff.
It was there when I was there. We were meant to go and see it.
It's like a few of my friends have been and they've took photographs and it looks absolutely phenomenal. But I know it's not Clash of the Titans, but the same thing. Jason and the Argonauts absolutely freaked me the fuck out. The skeletons.
The skeletons.
Yeah, the skeletons.
And when you think about like the sword fighting, that was people fighting with nobody there, and the fighting against players, and how they did that so perfect and so intensely as well. It's amazing. It probably took them years to film, because we know how long stop motion does take. But as well, we haven't even talked about the big monster as well, the one that kind of ends it all, the Kraken.
The Kraken.
Oh God, yes. Sorry, I've got such an itchy eye.
That's good. We've made Sam emotional already.
Oh God, sorry. Bloody hay fever season, man. My eyes are killing us.
With one pick, Charlotte, you made Sam cry, and Kev can't even.
Honestly, Kev wasn't even here. Honestly, like it just. Do you know when you don't think about something? Like, I've looked at so many lists today of fantasy films, and what is defined as fantasy isn't what I define as fantasy. So I was like, it really became hard to pick, and I completely forgot about this, but this is one of my favourites growing up. Me and Anth always argue what's better, Jason and the Argonauts or Clash of the Titans.
But that's why I love about, like, say, these type of top fives, when you get like different types of personalities in the same room. They've got different opinions. They've got different viewpoints. That's. I love hearing other people's thing, because I know we've got a really interesting topic. I know I'm going off topic now. Sorry. In the next few weeks, Grant's going to be involved again. The top 5 cult films. Now that's going to be a mindfuck when we go through that as well. So, but that's why I like doing these ones as well, because it brings back memories and things that you forgot about.
Yeah. Am I here for the cult one?
I don't know.
Yeah,
possibly.
I think so.
Yeah.
If you're on holiday, you were still going to phone you in. So you're not
I was just going to say, if I was on holiday, I'm going to give someone my top 5 because I'm not missing out on cults. I love it. I am I'm kind of speechless that I completely forgot about this one.
It was probably one of my first picks. As soon as I thought fantasy, this was one of my first ones.
Oh, wow.
Same. And I thought it was a blinding pick that nobody else would have.
Have you picked it as well?
Did you have it too?
Yeah. I've got on my reserve list in here now, and it's a long shot. It really is. It's a Hail Mary pass.
I'll tell you what though, Kev has started the reserve list type of...
He has, hasn't he? I haven't got any reserves for this one.
No, I haven't this week, because I knew there was going to be ones that we probably are going to have, and I was just going to enjoy. So, with it being on your pick as well though, Grant, what do you... I know you haven't really got a chance to say much, but why do you love this so much that hasn't been said?
Much the same as Princess Bride. I've been into mythology since I was old enough to read, and it just epitomised everything fantastical that I loved at the time. It's stunning when you see that as a child as well. It was absolutely mind blowing. it's. I don't really think I can say anything that hasn't already been said. Like the
I
big
just
bit,
love
the
how
bit
you-
that always sticks with us is Medusa. That and the witches.
Yeah.
Oh my
With
God, the
eye and
witches!
the
They were
rolling around.
horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, so well
Still
put
want to
together.
be one.
To be fair though, that was very Macbeth though, and not just Greek mythology,
Yeah.
like with the witches, the way they behaved and stuff. Because it wasn't that one for the spider though. No, that was Krull for the spider. Sorry if anyone's picked Krull.
No, but I did get wrong for not mentioning it and went off it in the car when I was taking them to work.
Someone put in the chat as well. It was Calibus, the name of the person.
Calibus,
Oh,
yes.
I knew there was a hard B in there somewhere.
Yeah, but how they went from live action to actually made him like the plasticine version during the action scenes, that was always quite clever as well. And how that take on it, but yeah, absolutely beautiful.
The end scene where she's tied to the rock and the Kraken's coming out the sea, and like even now you can't really pinpoint which is like the plasticine
Yeah.
mini set and which is like the live set.
Yeah, it reminds us a lot of King Kong, like the original King Kong, not the Peter Jackson one, like the ones with the stop motion and like and
they're climbing up the building.
and how much they got like personality wise out of these things as well. That was the whole thing, because a plasticine Medusa, when you think about it, shouldn't be scary, but each individual snake moved, and like I said, just the flow of the body was very snake-like.
Eyes.
Oh, the eyes. That's one thing that haunted us all the way through my childhood. I think there was a stage, I saw this once, and I forgot the name of the film, but all I remembered was the eyes of Medusa and turning to stone, and that just had us hooked from, like I say, growing up. But yeah, what a pick, Charlotte.
What a pick. I remember being completely obsessed with Medusa though, like to the point where I always either wanted to be her or I wanted to draw her. I'm not good at drawing, by the way, so she looked ridiculous. She probably looked like she had about 1,800 penises on her head or something. Like, I'm really not the greatest drawer
To be
in the
fair though,
world.
to be fair though, if you have a
There's
look
probably
online,
a film out there.
Yeah.
there is probably a porn version of Clash of the Titans. That all
Most
the penises
likely.
don't turn men to stone, but they turn them to something else.
Clash of the tight ones.
Wow. It was at this time that YouTube took us offline.
Oh my god! That broke us!
So
That's literally the last line of the film.
Oh god!
So when we took down from YouTube, we were back up and running on Pornhub. So I hope you
Oh
enjoy,
my
guys.
god!
But yes.
My mum's watching Peaky Blinders.
Brilliant.
Cool. So do you want to go next then, Sammy?
I got on. I'm going to get this one out of the way with, because I have a funny feeling that a few of us might have it, or at least one of us might have it. It's probably the most obvious choice when it comes to fantasy. Labyrinth.
Dance, magic dance. Yes. So if you tuned in before we even started the podcast, we did have the music on, so it was kind of a giveaway that this was going to be on the list. It's on my list as well.
Anyone else?
No, I bumped it because I knew somebody was going to pick it.
I knew Paul would pick it.
What about
I
Greg?
definitely knew Paul would pick
Did
it.
you have it on?
No, it was kind of a first reserve if somebody picked one of me off as I knew somebody else would pick it.
I am terrible when it comes to fantasy, how we have defined it for this list. The likes of and I'm sorry if anyone's picked these, but Dark Crystal, other stuff like Time Bandits, and there's one more, and I cannot remember the name of it.
We'll stop listing just in case.
I don't think anyone would pick them, to be honest. But them kind of fantasies scared us.
Yeah.
Like really scared us. So I kind of stayed away from them. But Labyrinth didn't have that same effect.
Oh, I disagree. I got there was quite scary bits, like when she's falling down and the hands are grabbing her and stuff like that.
Oh, see, I don't mind that.
Oh, she's all about being handy, shall we say?
I was more mesmerised by David Bowie.
Yes, and his digitally enhanced crotch.
That is not digitally enhanced.
Rumours are it was enhanced.
Oh my God. The lies.
Maybe not digitally.
The lies. I just thought it's such a, it just reminds us of like growing up.
Yeah.
Everyone loved this film. Everyone wanted to be Sarah. I wanted to be the Goblin King. Like, do you know, this is where my weirdness started coming out.
Nothing wrong
Kev
with being.
doesn't like it.
Not surprised, to be fair.
Doesn't like it.
I don't think it's a Kev type of film. Like, I think
It's nearly a deal breaker.
Wow.
to be fair though, I'd be surprised that Donna likes it because it's got a few Muppets in there, and I know how she feels about Muppets.
Oh God, yeah, we do.
Yeah, it was Jim Henson, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yeah,
Jim
well,
Henson had
yeah.
a really dark
Yeah.
sense of humour when it comes to like,
Oh.
certain things. But
Hoggle. Is it
Hoggle.
Hobble?
Hoggle,
Or
Hoggle,
Hoggle.
it was
Oh,
Hoggle.
did you see what happened to the puppet of Hoggle?
No.
So they lost it in transit. It was put on a plane and never found it again.
All right.
And they found it like 30 years later.
Mhm.
And the photos of it are horrific because it's like rotting
Mhm.
because it's been in this suitcase for
I would have shit
30
my
years.
pants.
Somebody was like, "What's this?" Opened the suitcase and there's a rotting Hoggle. the photos are. I'm sure you can see the photos. They're horrible, but yeah,
I
it got
kind
lost.
of don't want to, but I want to at the same time. I want to see what a rotten puppet looks like. Oh,
It's one of them things. Like the music in this film is iconic
Yeah.
as well. Like every song is toe-tapping and hilarious. Even the old ballroom scene, that's very confusing and
really confusing. There's some questionable choices in this, mind. But if you take away it looks stunning.
to be
Like,
fair,
it looks
yeah.
stunning.
it was the 80s. That type of stuff wasn't
Yeah.
frowned upon as much.
Yeah. Oh, we just didn't really talk about it. That was the 80s. We just didn't talk about it.
Yeah.
What the baby though? Oh my God, did I ever just want to leave that baby there? It was so annoying. I was like, just leave him. Go and enjoy your life. It's all good.
you can tell we don't have kids in this podcast.
Yeah,
I
I took away the wrong messages from this film. I was like, look at what he can offer you, and you want to save the child? No.
But to be fair though, Bowie was absolutely phenomenal in this. Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
he was just having so much fun, and like anything like. It was strange. As I said, it was dark. It was funny. It was cute at times. It had even a little bit of a Monty Python feel at times, like when he's trying to cross the bridge and you've got Sir Lancelot and was it Sir Diggory or the
Yeah. See, this is why it didn't scare us like Dark Crystal did, because they were lovable,
Yeah.
like really lovable. What was the big white thing? Was it white?
No, it was Ludo.
Ludo.
Ludo, that's it.
What
friend.
what me and Grant kindly call Tiny. Sorry, dude, if you're watching.
I need to take that as a compliment.
I always used to spew out this uninteresting random fact about Labyrinth when I was younger, was that the dancing, I don't even know what you would call them. They took their heads off and moved around and danced.
Oh,
What are you going to say?
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Demon things.
Yeah, one of them is the cat from Red Dwarf.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was my random ass fact as a kid, and I love that I knew that.
But even them, they were quite sinister. Like they're trying to pull off poor Sarah's head.
They didn't succeed.
No, but
Darn
like
it.
you say, the whole elements in this film, like you say, Ludo is just absolutely. You want to just cuddle it.
Yes.
Like, but there's so many things. Like even like the little characters, like the little worm.
Hello?
Oh,
Hello.
the little blue worm.
Yeah.
Hello.
And the door knockers. How many people have wanted one of them, or like they looked
So still want one.
Yep. You can get them on Etsy, but they're not very cheap.
Now it is cheap on Etsy. No, I really want one of those door knockers. And the hands never even bothered us either. Even in Itch 2, when the hands come out of the the drain, doesn't bother us. Now, if it was teeth, different conversation.
But
The one that used to freak me out was the garbage lady thing.
all right, yes, when she's going through all
Oh
the
God,
problems and
yeah.
I thought she was really creepy, and I don't know why.
No,
I
she
did.
is really creepy.
It was just like, no.
But But even that had a bit of a Star Wars feel when they're in the trash compactor and stuff when they're going through. But like say even like a Wizard of Oz feel as well, going like trying to find their way back home. But
Did anyone else pinch their mother's lipstick and draw on the road with it?
No.
Was that just me?
We did it with chalk.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what she did. She used lipstick.
Yeah,
I went
she
all
used
authentic.
To be fair, I never really related to Sarah. I always thought she was a moany little bitch. So
I agree with you. She made some bad choices in that film.
yeah, but
She looks amazing. Like her
Yeah.
costumes are amazing. in that
phenomenal.
film. Yeah.
Jennifer Connelly just hasn't aged though. She still looks exactly the same as what she looked back then. which
Yeah,
is
someone
terrifying.
sold our soul to the devil because she really does look no different.
And I love that it was Warwick Davis in some of the outfits as well.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
But no, it's one of them films that has to go on. I know one of my friends actually had like Dance Magic Dance as a wedding song as well. That was just amazing.
Oh.
Oh, that's so cool. It is on my playlist.
Every time somebody posts in the group voodoo,
Who do you do?
a
Voodoo.
million comments continue in the song every single time.
Who
Everybody
do
knows
you
it.
do?
I know there's talk of a sequel. I know it might sound sacrilege to others, but the casting actually makes sense because they've talked about Tilda Swinton playing the Goblin King.
I am
in.
all in for that.
Yeah, in. Whatever Tilda Swinton's doing, I'm in.
This is going to sound really, really stupid, but did you watch American Gods?
Yes,
Up to a point.
Did you see the Bowie bit in American Gods?
with
Yes.
Gillian Anderson.
Yes.
Yes.
He would be perfect.
Yes.
She's done it already.
That.
Grant looks really confused.
Ian Anderson's in American Gods.
Yeah, first season.
Yeah, in the first season.
Why haven't I watched this?
And you look so disappointed.
She actually does a.
I've pretty much completed Pornhub. I need something new.
She actually says in the first season as well as in I Am Lucy. Do you want to see I
yeah,
Am
I Love
Lucy's
Lucy.
tits?
That'll do it. Sold.
So this is where Grant logs off to the podcast and
See you later. She's only in the first season, but the first season was really
It's the
good.
best.
first
Yeah,
season, like I say, they kind of give up because I think was it Brian? What's his name? Brian Fuller.
yeah.
One of the it was
Yeah.
one of the showrunners left after
Yeah.
the first season, didn't they?
Yeah, he left, and a lot of the cast left as well. I think that'd have
Yeah.
fallen out. But
You've just reminded us there is something I need to ask you about American Gods before we log off tonight, so don't let us forget. Okay.
yes,
Just while that you reminded us.
yes, someone does get eaten by a vagina in American Gods, if you want. But yeah,
But you really are going to make Grant log off soon after you just said that. Look at
Pants
his
are already undone.
You sold.
but like the only thing that I'd say there was two parts that in Labyrinth that I didn't get when I was a kid, and I still don't really. I understand it a bit more now, but I just didn't. I don't quite like. One's the ballroom scene. I find it a little bit icky now, and the end bit when like say they're just chasing after Toby in the labyrinth. That's basically the painting.
Yeah.
Like I say, that song doesn't quite fit. It doesn't have the same feel as the other thing. It does the same energy. That was always my down points on the film. Other than that, like I say, I can watch it and just, like I say, turn off brain and just enjoy. But again, like I know I'm going to keep banging on about this, but the realms of reality where rocks are being able to speak to and to come alive, and I believed it. And I was talking to rocks when I was a kid, thinking that rocks were going to be my friends.
Yeah. Or trying to look for a little caterpillar that'll talk to us in a Cockney accent when looking forever for that one.
And
It,
and did anyone else's parents threaten to punish them by throw them in the bog of the eternal stench? Or was it just my parents?
Just yours.
Fair enough. I'll take that one.
I think every kid who had an imaginary friend, this is their ultimate fantasy film.
Yes.
I'm going to have to agree with you on that one, yeah. Totally.
It had such a sweet ending as well when they were saying, like,
Yeah.
if you need us, we'll be there. And he's just like, I do
Oh.
need you, and then it all kicks in again.
Please don't.
You
I'll
all
start
notice
crying.
the stuff in the background in that scene, though.
Yes, the toys and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
like they're all the toys around the room and what have you.
Yeah.
The characters.
But that's Jim Henson to the point, though. He was always
Yeah.
very like on the nose, and it was all about the details with Jim Henson. I'm just like, it's one of them bittersweet moments as well, because with Jim dying so young, just what could we have had with the technology and like everything that we've got these days? Because he was a magician for what he did and how he did stuff back then. Imagine it now. It's just devastating to think about.
It's a testament to him though that Brian, his son, didn't go too far. Like, yes, he still keeps the Jim Henson name alive and the work that comes with it, but he didn't go too far. Like, I know he finished Christmas Carol, because Jim Henson died during that, but he didn't overstep his mark, if that makes sense. Yeah, I know there's a massive museum in Los Angeles. I don't know if it's still there. It was a few years ago, just dedicated to him, just a full dedication to him. Any bit of work or collectibles that they had of him just was in there. It would have been amazing to see. Unless the Skegsies were there, then I'm out.
To be fair, though, I would love to take Donna to like I say, a Jim Henson museum just to see her freak out when Kermit and Miss Piggy are trying to be friends with her.
I'll just you remember the Muppets ride in Florida? Did you ever go on that one?
Yeah.
Just take her on that and make her sit with them in 3D.
I reckon she would punch us in the face, to be fair.
You could conflict her really, really badly by taking her to the strip club out of that Ed Sheeran video where there's like stripping Muppets. And she'd be like,
I'm so confused.
I want to dance, but I can't dance.
Sorry, Donna.
Sorry. Oh, look at Charlotte.
Sorry, Donna. We promised.
Sorry.
We promised we're not going to get you drunk next week and take you to a Muppet strip club.
No.
You might not.
Grant's going to come out and come at the frog. Oh, no, Fuzzy Bear cosplay.
Oh, no, not Fuzzy Bear. No, not Fuzzy Bear. I am never going to make this time on here. Fucking eyes are killing us.
But yes.
Labyrinth. That's my pick.
So that's my pick gone as well. So that's my first pick.
So we go back to Grant, even though Grant had one of Charlotte's. We still go to Grant?
Did you?
Yeah, well, actually, no, because we talked for a while, so I'll skip mine and I'll just stick to my original list.
Cool. So
Okay.
Back to Queen Charlotte.
Right, I'm going to get this one out of the way because I know one of it isn't a fan.
I'm going to guess that's me.
Yeah. Like, I think all of my picks, it is based on a book, apart from,
That does not shock me.
It came out in 1984. It has a 43-foot long dragon. A never-ending story.
Oh, fuck that. You know exactly how I feel about
I
that.
know. Sorry.
So there's another one of my picks gone.
You could have guessed that the other day when we were in Newcastle. The pair of yous were like proper all over Neverending. I got wrong.
It was. I actually took Labyrinth off the list for Never-Ending Story because I knew probably somebody would pick both of them. So
yeah, it's in the 80s. It's 80s fantasy. it's not going to be not picked, but yeah, I'll let you talk about it first because I'm going to wank over it, so don't worry.
Same.
I just think it's brilliant. When you think fantasy, it is fantasy. Like, it's
fucking
magic.
terrifying.
It's terrifying. It's imagination. It's storytelling. It's fairy tale. It's fantasy.
Say my name, Sebastian. But yeah, I couldn't put it any better than Charlotte's just put it. It is literally ticks every single box, and like from the start, like the start sets the tone when you go into like say the world, with the rock monsters eating lime. The Mad Hatter want to be riding a racing snail, a fucking racing snail. That was
Do
absolutely
you know who that
brilliant.
is?
No?
It's Deep Roy, who was the Oompa Loompas in the Tim Burton Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wow, I did not know that.
But it's not his voice.
Right, I was going to say, yeah, the voice was probably not there. Now, I know we're going to go into this like bits, and we know why Sam doesn't like it, but everything in this is just like they could probably remake this now and do it as a spectacular, but it wouldn't have the same impact just
No.
because of the elements in like Falcor. Tell me who didn't want to ride Falcor, and if you said you didn't, Sam, you're a fucking liar.
I was going to say Sam.
About the only childhood thing she hasn't written.
Funny fucker. This
Nay.
film. Don't make me eyes water again. Oh my god. Like,
Look at the camera while you do it.
don't call me Donna.
I will if you want me to.
Fuck's sake, man. This film generally broke my heart as a child. Genuinely broke my heart, and this is why I don't like it for.
Why, for a trio?
Yeah. Genuinely broke my heart.
Before we get into that, the horse did not die.
Yeah, that was bullshit.
It did not die.
Well,
it was given to it was given to Noah Hawke, who played a trio. But because of like quarantine times and transportation costs and stuff at the time, he was like, no, this isn't fair. I'm going to leave it in Germany. And the actual horse ended up on like a ranch in Texas or something, and lived a long and happy life.
Yes. So the
On a farm.
Yeah, he did not
On
die.
a ranch in Texas. He
did
didn't
not
die.
He didn't die.
I heard that. This. It's obviously one of those massive like Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know, let's make this film more interesting than what it actually is. But even though it was interesting, honestly, there's nothing not to like in this film. It just broke my heart, and I can't forgive it for doing that. It's the same with The Land Before Time. I cannot forgive what that film did to me as a child,
But
and this is the same.
But
That's exactly why I can't watch E.T.
It's
broke me.
all. It broke my soul.
But it's got a luck dragon in. Please, like say
No.
the luck dragon, and I love the badness in this as well. Like the whole where it's like the darkness is coming, and you never really see what the darkness is, and it's just nothingness. So like say it's a metaphor for death coming.
I always saw that as a metaphor for kids growing up and losing their imagination.
Ah.
Oh my god.
Maybe I was
Sorry.
Maybe I was just a little bit darker back then.
No, maybe.
Because like the whole thing was that world exists because kids are reading, kids have got imaginations, and they're growing up and they haven't got the same imagination anymore.
I love that. That's a lot better version of mine. Mine was just like death comes.
Everyone's
for us all.
dying.
Paul's just killing everyone off. Charlotte's just breaking people.
Sorry.
But no,
Honestly, I'll never watch this film again. I won't. I can't do it to myself.
like I say, that giant frog, the turtle as well when it sneezes.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Just everything sets up, and like the whole, like say the fight with the big bad wolf as well. That was all well done. And
That wolf was sinister.
Oh, terrifying! And the whole thing about passing the two statues, like only the. Was it what was the premise of it? Again, it's gone out of my mind now. Was it with the righteous man? Because I know it was like very Indiana Jones style. Was it a purist warrior or something like that could pass?
It was something like that. It was like
Because then people were like watching it.
it was like a test, wasn't it?
Yes, a test of like if you were worthy, and like that old couple that was sitting there watching all these like. Warriors
people die,
and they didn't want the kid to do it, and they went, and like I say, it was just magical. But I love the fact that, like say, when you went to the bookstore, like say that could have been Charlotte as a kid. You could have been, like say, getting like say the princess whispering to say her name.
Do you know what her name was?
I can't remember now.
It was Moonchild. I don't think it's ever said in the film.
No.
But it's Moonchild.
Yeah, and you remember it being like something hippie-ish like that. But but yeah.
One of Frank Zappa's kids.
Yeah.
Because the film only actually covers like the first half of the book.
Yeah, there's about three sequels, isn't there?
There's 3 of them all together. I've not seen the third one.
No, because I remember them coming out with the pictures when I was a kid, but the first one was the only one that had like a lasting impression.
It's a different Bastian in the second one because the original one died really young.
Mm-hmm. And Sam didn't see it.
I know.
She's still in shock of Atreyu and stuff.
I'm very shocked. I love that name though.
Sebastian. But yeah.
Love it.
But no, like say every element of that film, like say even at the end bit when he's flying Falcon, he goes back to the world. Everyone that had disappeared and you thought had died is reappearing and shown back up again. It just shows the power of imagination or power of life, as I thought it was back then.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's why I like different viewpoints because it gives it a little bit more innocence to what I was good. So I'll probably enjoy it a little bit more now.
Just look at it from Charlotte's point of view, and you'll probably just break like me and never want to watch it again.
To be fair though, we should have a viewing party and make Sam watch it, like Clockwork Orange style, with like the things in her eyes to see that she can't close them.
If you want that on you, I'll do it because I will bawl.
Couldn't give a fuck.
Just remember who's driving you to Manchester.
That's fine. I can't give you directions, so that's not too bad.
That's very true. You're right, fucking Joe.
To be fair though, that I can't believe we haven't talked about even the Stranger Things moment with this. From last season.
The song,
yes.
Ended story. I'm getting what's he called?
Dustin
to sing it with his little gal pal, which was the sweetest thing and just the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Lovely. I cried my eyes out.
You might not like the film, but everybody loves that
It's
song.
not that I don't like the film. I just remember how much it broke. It's like I was a wreck for ages because of it, and I've promised myself I would never watch it again, and I never will, ever.
Someone's just pointed out in the chat as well that the original Sebastian's alive.
Is he?
Oh, that's probably why my radar didn't go off for my death radar.
As an American photographer now.
Oh.
So yeah.
IMDb lied to me.
Charlotte's just killing off people.
The imagination ran out.
But like I say, going back for the music, like I say, if I had a Spotify playlist back then, I think I used to have it on tape, but I used to love that song as well. Just imagine flying about with Falco in your living room. Like I say, I didn't even have the teddy bear, but if they brought out a Falco teddy bear now,
I would have one.
I would have one, yeah.
Yeah, we all know how I feel about teddies. I'd have one.
Fluffy things she could ride. What can we say?
Oh, for fuck's sake! I could hear it. I could hear the cogs turning as I was speaking, and I was like, "You just have to go with it."
Just never let go. That's fine. But yes, so that's my second pick. Well, and that's Charlotte's got as well. So we're back to go to Sammy again for next.
Okay, I'm gonna chuck this one out there because I watched it last night, and I'm gonna say it's fantasy because, well, it is. It was in a fantasy list, and I thought, I've just watched that last night. I don't know why I like this film. There's no reason for us to actually like it. There's no reason for anyone to like it, but I absolutely love it. It's from 2004.
Right.
It's got one of the worst actors in there. Known to God.
You're really selling this.
I really am. Honestly, I can't explain it. Like I try to. Like Anthony will never understand why I love this. I used to watch it all the time when we first started seeing each other. It's King Arthur.
All right.
Which one?
With no, not the well, what's his name? Clive
Owen and
Clive
Keira
Owen.
Knightley.
Yeah, Keira Knightley. It has like Clive Owen's terrible in it. Like his acting is so bad. It's so stale for like for Arthur. It's nah. But the guys who he is like the Somalian Knights are some of the best like people of actors grouped together. They're just amazing. Like you've got Mads Mikkelsen. You've got a very young Mads Mikkelsen in there. You got him who plays Uncle what's his face from Star Wars.
All right, Uncle Owen.
Yeah, in the prequels,
He
and
was
he's
in-
also we're
he was
gonna
in-
see him in
In
thingy.
Obi-Wan, he was in Warrior as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, we're gonna see him in Obi-Wan soon. You got what's his name, the Cockney guy.
There's a few of them.
Oh,
Danny Boyle?
freaking, no, not quite. Big guy,
Danny
Ray
Dyer.
Winston.
With
Ray Winston.
the worst
I have-
Russian accent ever in the world.
It was really bad, but he was awesome in this. But you also have the guy who plays Will Graham from Hannibal. So you have Hannibal and Will Graham
Right.
fighting alongside each other. I love it, and I don't know why, because everything about this film is terrible, but it's so good.
I think when this got, I think that I always remember it because it caused a bit of controversy when it came out. Because not nothing bad like that. It's just in the advertisements, the Photoshop Keira Knightley's boobs, so they were
Yeah,
bigger.
because she was only like 19 or something in this film, because it wasn't long after Pirates, I think.
Yeah, she's like very incredibly flat-chested.
Yeah, but there was hell on about it as well, because like the
I remember
I
that.
posted, but that's the reason because she did what was it, The Hole? I think The Hole came out.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
And then
She was really young in that.
yeah, then this came out not too long
Wow.
afterwards. But yeah, it's an interesting choice.
Yeah, it is. And it was
Only seen
I
it
just
once.
oh, Charlotte, I've seen it probably enough for everyone. And it's not that great of a story. It really isn't. But I just love the people in it. I didn't realise until last night that the guy who plays Merlin is Stannis Baratheon from Game of Thrones.
All
I
right.
had no idea. I just absolutely love it. There's the fighting scenes in it are meh, the acting scenes in it are meh, but the guys who play the Cimmerian Knights are amazing.
I think
They really make it.
I think the reason why I couldn't get on board because they try to do it like as a period piece, so they try to say like this is how it
Yes.
would have happened, because
Yeah.
then they have Arthur as a Roman and stuff like that.
He's the half Roman, half Britain. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. But they say at the beginning of the film, like archaeologists have found all this stuff and this is how it really would have happened. Oh, bullshit. Horseshit. Absolute horseshit.
Am I right
That's
in
the bit I
thinking
like
this
about
was-
it. Oh, sorry, I love the thing I love about it most is the premise. Like, with Sammy, I really love this movie, even though it's met as fuck.
Yes!
But I love the premise of them being left behind guarding Hadrian's Wall, and it being you know, the Picts coming back over the wall after they've been exiled and what have you. I think it's an amazing way. Of
Oh, man, I had
imagining
to
it.
I had to explain it to Ant last night.
No,
I
it's-
think,
Was I
No.
right in thinking that this was Jerry Bruckheimer's?
Yes.
It was Jerry Bruckheimer after Pirates, and
Yes.
it kind of flopped.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because me and Ant, when the credits came up, went, fucking Jerry Bruckheimer. Because Ant come in at the last 10 minutes of it and he went, I just don't get it. And I went, I can't explain it to you. I really can't. And he went, tell us the story. And I told him, he went, it sounds shit. I went, it is. It really is.
I think
But it's so good.
yeah, I probably would have enjoyed it more if they didn't use the Arthur mythology. If they just used the premise, as Grant said, a Roman troops left behind in England, and then the savages came to fight, and that was the premise behind it. I think I would have got more on board and actually enjoyed it more. But I love the fact, like, say, when you go back to the old Camelot, like, say, I even like the Richard Gere version. Sorry.
Don't need to apologise. I've just said I like King Arthur.
But when you think about it, like, say, when you go to, like, the King Arthur story, like, when you can't help but going back to Disney and going to the Sword and the Stone. And
See, I love the Sword and the Stone.
Them elements and to it and stuff. So this one kind of missed its mark. But I probably, as I said, as Grant put it really well, if they did, like, a Gladiator style, like premise, no names. Don't say it's like Arthur. Just a Roman soldier left behind, guarding his last fort of Roman emphasis. That to me is quite interesting and quite an interesting premise. But then you throw in the saying, oh, it's now English legend and England folklore with Merlin and Guinevere and Sir Lancelot.
And Lancelot who dies, which is confusing. But the also Stellan Skarsgård as a fucking Saxon. Oh my God, that man looks amazing.
Jesus
Absolutely
Christ.
amazing.
I thought we were going to get some kind of different explosion there, but
honestly, he looked fucking incredible. And it's like, he looks like a Viking. I was good. Well, the kind of and I'm like trying to explain it. I said I didn't care. I mean, the way he talks.
To be fair though, Sammy, you do realise that next weekend there's going to be a pub full of loads of people with beards and looking like Vikings. Are you going to be okay to be there?
Yeah, my husband looks like a Viking. I'm all good with that. It's probably why I married him.
He's a nice bloke. Just no, he looks like a Viking there.
He looks like a Viking. Honestly, I'm obsessed at the minute. I really am. I think I've been Charlotte's ear for about half an hour about how obsessed I am over Vikings on Monday. Sorry, mate. But yeah, I love it. I shouldn't. Nobody should. Nobody really should. But I do. Cool. I don't understand it. But yeah, that's my pick. I had to pick it, especially the fact that I just flicking through Disney Channel last night and I was like, oh. And I was like, I haven't watched this for a while.
You do pick the best choice of words as well when you say flicking through stuff. Well, yeah.
No, I just sit with a dirty-minded sod who can't keep his mind out the gutter.
Sorry,
Grant.
I was going to say, I was talking about Charlotte, talking about Grant here. Or...
Yeah, I don't help myself. But yeah, King Arthur.
Cool. So my second pick's already been picked. Thanks, Charlotte. So we move on to Grant's third pick.
I'm very confused by this now.
Yeah.
I
always keep a good record, so we're on to Grant's third pick.
I'm sticking with King Arthur.
All right.
Not the movie, but I'm sticking with the myth.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw this film as a kid, it confused the living daylights out of me because I didn't get that it was a comedy.
Right.
So I was following it completely like it was a straight-laced fantasy film. And at the end, when the police show up, I didn't know what the hell was going on. Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes!
It is but a flesh wound.
Absolute work of genius on the Arthur legend. It's a comedy masterpiece. Again, it's another one that's full of sound bites. You know what I mean? You know, your father was a hamster and your mother smelled elderberries. Right, that was the dog getting up.
Was it not the scary beast? Was it the rabbit that was like say the most terrifying beast of all? But no.
Yeah, that's the little dog. She's sitting over there.
Hey, sweetie.
Lurking in the background.
Oh, did you see a head drop there? Oh, bless.
Yeah, what a film.
So dramatic.
It's again timeless. The humour of them guys, like you say, that cast, like it was Michael Palin and John, like say because we players that work, Michael Palin, John Cleese, Terry Gilliam. It was Terry Gilliam who directed it, wasn't it? Or
yeah, he did most. He directed most of them.
Yes, because I know he went on like to be a bit crazy later on in life, but like I say, Monty Python again shouldn't have worked. It shouldn't have worked, but absolutely brilliant. Like my favourite scene, I know I've just mentioned like the Black Knight where they gets all his limbs chopped off, and he's still trying to fight, and he's still trying to like gnaw on the ankles as they're trying to pass, but for, as you said, sound bites, jokes, people still quote this in movies today. It's still a reference, and didn't they recently do a play as well, Spamalot as well, that was based on it quite a little bit. But yeah, like I say, I love Mike Python. Like I say, I love The Life of Brian as well.
I love The Life of Brian. That's probably one of my favourite. I don't really get Monty Python a lot, like especially like the sketch comedy shows. It just went over my head. But Life of Brian and Holy Grail, hilarious. It was actually directed by Terry Jones as well.
Terry Jones. Yeah,
Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones, who sadly passed away in 2020. There you go. I got it out. It was killing us that Charlotte got one over us.
But it
Apparently I didn't.
It didn't do it. She's just falsifying deaths now. Just, but yeah, I don't know. Like, have you? Like, say, what do you feel about Charlotte? Is this one of the ones that you've seen recently or watched?
I haven't seen it recently. My dad's a big Monty Python fan, so I've seen it as a kid. But I'm a bit like Sammy. It kind of went over my head. I think I'd probably have to watch it again now.
Yeah, same
to
here.
get it properly.
All
But
I have to do is get a pair of coconuts and like say
even
everyone gets
exactly,
the
I was like,
reference.
I've only seen it a handful of times, and even I know like the sound bites from it, and everybody knows something from it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's probably one of the most quoted films in British humor. Anyway, it's probably one of the most quoted films ever.
Yeah, I think like say it's one of the British comedies that transcended over the pond as well, because the Americans love it more than us. Which
I never got that.
Because like, even like say in like big American TV shows, I think it's been referenced in Friends, Seinfeld, and stuff like that. They've all had like a Monty Python's reference, and so on. I know it's probably been in Frasier as well. Again, I might be just making up shit, so sorry, but I'm sure like say a lot of American comedy used a lot of Monty Python sketches, and I know John Cleese is absolutely huge. It's like, well, from everything he's done, like say from Faulty Towers to A Fish Called Wanda and stuff like that.
Faulty Towers.
But yeah, like just National Institute.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's the best way I could describe it. Like say a National Institute of Britishness. I never thought I would go all
Britishness.
yes, I'm going all patriotic there, waving the British flag. But yeah, it's going to be one of them type of humours where I think the American style was Blazing Sandals, like the Mel Brooks
Blazing
style.
Saddles, yeah.
Still brilliant though.
So that was always like the conflicting. Like the British one was Monty Python, and then the Mel Brooks humour, like I say, to counteract it. But but I even think if we didn't have Monty Python, you wouldn't have like say Blazing Sandals and as a such
Saddles
like
and
Saddles.
Young Frankenstein and
Frankenstein. Spaceballs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's a good point.
So yes, good pick though, Grant. So we're back to Charlotte with number 3.
Number 3. So my number 3 is it's quite recent. It was the first one was released in 2010. Again, based on a book. It's an animation.
Right.
Ooh.
And it is a kids animation. It is, but I unashamedly adore this trilogy, and it is How to Train Your Dragon.
Ah.
Oh, I've never seen it.
It's brilliant.
It's got Vikings in.
It's got Vikings. It does. It has Vikings in it.
Gonna be watching it now then. Grant's gonna go and sort the horse out.
It's just anybody with a pet will love this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard so many good things
so-
about it.
It's so endearing and it's so heartwarming, and Toothless is adorable.
Yes.
But it's got a brilliant voice cast. It's a beautiful film. I adore them. I really do, and they are really, really fantastical.
It was DreamWorks, wasn't
I
it?
love that word.
Yeah.
I love that word.
Yeah, it was because when it was during the time when DreamWorks was smashing out the park with like the animation. It was around the time that Shrek came out. I'm trying to think of the others.
It was a little bit after Shrek. The first one was 2010. So I think it was sort of as Shrek was coming to their end, this one came out.
Right. Well, but as I said, Toothless, it's almost got like a Finding Nemo like quality when, like, say, it's lost its little fin, like its little, sorry, spoiler there, Sam. But like the whole elements, like, is dragons really bad, or they're not, or they're just misunderstood and stuff, that mythology, and how man doesn't ask questions, just thinks attack and
Shoots
kill.
first.
Shoots first, asks question later. But like, say, even the relationships between like the young kid, who voices him, by the way? I'm trying to.
Jay
Baruchel,
yeah.
Because he
Isn't
does
Kit Harington a voice in there?
I can't remember.
It's the second one.
I think he's in a
Right.
sequel and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like say the relationship between him and his father as well was so wholesome and nice and stuff. But the animation is out there. It's up there with anything that Pixar done as well, and it's got some of the emotional cleft as well, I would say.
Yeah. The animation throughout the three of them, particularly on Hiccup, how they age him is flawless, absolutely flawless. And the third one, especially the use of colour in the third one, is amazing. It's really, really beautiful.
Well, you sold me with Vikings.
I didn't know this was a book though as well.
No, me neither.
It's a whole series. There's probably about 15 of them now.
So did the film come before the book, or the book before the film?
The book series came before the film. The book series was by Cressida Cowell.
All right.
I think the books became more popular after the film came out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's loads of them.
No, it's definitely something I'm going to keep an eye on, because I didn't know that
they are very much aimed at a younger audience, the books.
Oh, to be fair, I love the Lemony Snicket books, so I'm not going to really say oh, sorry, Charlotte.
Love those books.
Grant, is the dog alright? You can just see Grant's face just getting more and more like, oh my god.
Shut up.
Sorry, guys.
Don't apologise. Don't apologise.
God, there was a camera on me. Probably looks like I was being shady as fuck or whatever. Charlotte's just saying like,
how dare you like kid stuff?
I actually agree with this one loads as well.
But no,
Oh my gosh.
as a premise, it's quite like, it's probably one of the most wholesome picks as well. I don't think any of mine, well, it could be like, definitely the Antics Behind the Scene wasn't wholesome, but we'll leave that for another day. But like I say, I love the first one. I haven't watched the other two, because I'm one of those ones where when the sequels come out, I was like, it can't be as good. I didn't think it would be as good or tell as good a story.
They get better.
Right. So I'll probably.
They really do. And the voice actors they get, Kate Blanchett's in the second one.
All right.
She's in the third one as well.
So they spent some
the
money,
voice-
I think.
in the third one?
Yeah, I think she's in the third one.
No, Peter Dinklage. So you're in the
Peter
third
Dinklage. Oh
one?
yeah, Peter Dinklage. I think.
Yeah.
Wait. Yeah, no, Peter Dinklage is in the third one because Kate Harington's in the second one.
So there's basically stole the Game of Thrones cast towards the end.
Yeah.
these people are getting killed off now. We'll move them into this realm. But yeah.
Yeah, I love them.
I'll definitely give it a watch.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming. So you've caught us out with a few ones there. So so if Donna's watching, Charlotte's definitely winning these top five so far. So
Yeah, I agree.
I haven't had a chance to pick one yet, so it's fine.
Oh, welcome to my world.
Sorry, I'll get you back. So move on to Sammy's third pick then.
Right. Again, not sure if you want to think that it's a fantasy film. I do.
Anything can be fantasy if you.
Well, that's what I learned today when I was looking at the definition of fantasy. Friggin' Spider-Man came up. I was like, okay. But this one, I absolutely adore. And I think that it'll be very hard pushed that none of you will, I think you'll all agree. It's got one of the greatest actors of all time, one of the greatest comedians of all time. It's from 1991, and it's Hook.
Yes.
This is one of the ones. This is one of the ones that almost made the top five. Was just on the outskirts, but yeah.
I thought Paul was going to pick it.
Who doesn't fucking love this film? I only watched it recently again for like the first time in years, and honestly, I was transfixed of how brilliant it was.
One of Spielberg's biggest flops.
I will never understand that ever.
It's a proper comfort blanket film.
Yes, absolutely. It's got one hell of a cast. Robin Williams. I always, you know how I feel about Mrs. Doubtfire. I don't hate it, but I just don't get the hype of it. This one, I totally get. Like, I get him. He is. If anyone was to be Peter Pan, it's him. Like, it really was.
Yeah. Can I just point out how many of these films Maggie Smith has been in?
Yes, I was just about to bring up Maggie Smith. Yes, she's been in quite a lot.
Yeah.
She's also in all the Harry Potters.
Yeah.
No, she does like to shake her wand a bit, but it's a strange experience where we're talking about a Robin Williams film where he's not the standout performer in a film. Dustin Hoffman as Hook is outrageously overacted, mesmerizing to the point where you cannot take your eyes off him.
I can't see him. That's how good he is. I can't see Dustin Hoffman. I can't picture him at all. I still can't. I tried when I watched it recently, and I've actually got my phone held up with a picture of it, and I still can't see him. That's not him.
I get that with Bob Hoskins as Smee.
Oh,
That chemistry is unreal.
It's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Isn't it?
They're not Bob Hoskins and Dustin Hoffman. They are Hook and Smee.
You
Yeah.
are watching that film for them too. You really are. And the fact that you had Glenn Close playing a pirate, honestly, I love it. I absolutely love the scenery there as well, like the detail with the ships and you know the outside of it. It's just fantastic.
Yeah, but like I
Food
say,
fight.
the food fight, the meal, like I
yeah.
say, that just gets us hungry. Like I say, I'm ill,
Yep.
and I haven't got an appetite. I can't even taste food, but I can smell and feel everything that the experience there, and just like I say, one of the best Lost Boys ever, Rufio.
Oh,
Banger, right?
But does nobody shout that when they have the food fight? I got really excited and I was getting banger. Love it, man. It's just you can't help but feel like a little bit euphoric when you're watching it. Like I just love it. I love how happy I am when I watch it.
It's again we're using the same words over and over. It's magical.
It is.
It takes you to places that you don't expect.
Nah.
And like say there's little elements as well like that hit you, like say again you don't expect to tear up at certain bits, like when Robin Williams' son, Peter's son, hits the first home run and that's my boy, and then you see Hook saying that's my boy Jack, and you see the heartbreak there. The food fight when Rufio throws the coconut and you see Peter pick up the sword and do the spin and cut it in half, and he starting to realise that he's Peter.
The food fight bit where he first starts using his imagination and the kid turns around to him and he goes, "You're doing it, you can see it."
Yeah.
That gets me every time.
You're doing it.
On Toodles lost
Every
his
time.
marbles.
Oh!
I could not. I was ready to fight you on this in case you turned around and said it wasn't fantasy. I really was.
Absolutely.
Peter Pan is one of my favourite stories, one of my favourite Disney films. I absolutely love what they did with this. I'm really shocked it was a flop. Like, I cannot get my head around it. It was huge in my family when I was growing up. Like, I still can picture the VHS box that we had of it with the green rim around it.
It was when it comes to VHS, because when we were kids, VHSs weren't cheap. When they first came out, so I used to only get that sounds really sad. VHS's movies on my birthday or Christmas.
Yeah, no, I was the same birthday, Christmas or Easter. Like that was an alternative, was a VHS tape.
But I was lucky with my birthday being in November. I used to get like the Christmas rush. So when Hook was released, like say, because you used to wait like a year for it to come out to buy after it was at the cinema, because it was 6 months for it to be rental. Then 6 months after that, it was to be buy. Then another 3 months after that, you could watch it on Sky. So when they released it, like I say, they had the big release, and I got all excited, saving me popping my birthday money up to buy Hook. I think I got Hook and Gremlins on the same day.
What a day!
But like I say, as I said, the green box as well. But I think why this flopped, everyone when it came out, it was advertised as Peter Pan. It wasn't Peter Pan's story.
It wasn't Peter Pan.
No.
As the name says, it was Hook's story.
Yeah.
And I loved what they did with the crocodile as well.
Oh, I can still hear the
was
music in my
brilliant.
head. You know when anytime you saw Hook, you could hear the do 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 do. I can still hear it going around in my head. I love this film.
Yes. Oh, what a film. But yeah, even the elements like Julia Roberts as Tinkerbell.
Which does me head in. Really does me head. Honestly, what a bitch. The one bit I cannot bide, and I love Julia Roberts, but what a bitch Tinkerbell was.
Tinkerbell was always a bitch, though, even in the groups.
Tinkerbell was in general, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's not a nice person,
No.
Proper little brat.
isn't she?
She's a proper teenage girl with a crush.
To be fair, though, you would love to spank her. Say, naughty Tinkerbell.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Repeatedly.
gosh.
Pixie dust everywhere.
To be fair, though, I've just noticed on the video, Charlotte's just turned into the shadow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
no,
went
sorry,
dark.
you went too dark.
The little girl as well who plays his daughter, when she starts singing, it honestly sets my teeth on edge. And it shouldn't. It's meant to be a really lovely moment, but
I
stop.
would have left the little boy behind. He really
I
annoys
would have left
us.
her behind the way she sang there.
Oh, he really annoys us. He's so ungrateful. Yes. Annoys us.
And it was, like, say, when they told the story about Wendy growing up as well, that was always a
Oh,
little bit
that.
sad.
Mhm.
Oh. And then it was Maggie Smith and they had it.
Yeah, and then he decided he wanted to keep, like, say, Wendy's daughter. And that was, like, say, when Peter decided to grow up. But yeah.
It was a woman that did it.
It was a pretty brave thing to do, especially
Yeah,
I mean,
massive.
if you did it now,
Mhm.
people probably wouldn't look twice at it.
Yeah.
People would be like, all right, they're doing it. But when they did it back then, it was a pretty brave thing to do. And it really, really worked. Like, they put thought into how the story was going to turn out.
Mm-hmm. Massively. It's just a fantastic, like, you can't describe it any other way than it's magic. It is magical. I love that word. There we go. Oh, I'm glad that pick went down well. I was pretty worried about it.
So I'm actually gonna get a pick then this time. As
Yay!
well.
Yay! Paul joins the party.
I'm gonna go with the one that I took out. I put in for The Princess Bride. Again, it fits in quite nicely with the one that Sam's picked. It's another Robin Williams film, which again I didn't think about until, like, say, I thought about it a little bit more, and I went, it's brilliant. It was 1995. I still want to play this game now. I still think so.
Shit!
I still think in this game, with the last 2 years how it's been going, Jumanji.
I love this film.
I was going to pick it, and I was really torn between putting this on.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Yep. But, like I say, all the elements, like I say, from, like, say, when they go back in the 60s and have, like, say, the young kids playing the board game, how, like, say, he's upset with his dad, and how his dad becomes, like, the hunter in the game and stuff was just so well done. But I know the CGI looks a bit ropey now, but Jesus Christ, back then, like,
Those spiders were terrifying.
Oh, so scary.
They were horrible.
I just got an itchy head when you said spiders.
Yeah, but, like, it's had a young Kirsten Dunst in as well, and, like, say, the little kid, like, I can't help but feeling sorry for him when he's like crying, like Robin Williams is saying, "Why are you crying for?" And it's just because his tail's stuck in his face.
Oh, it's so good.
It's got the mom from Beethoven in, isn't it?
It does.
I can't remember her name.
I know exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But and how she thinks everyone treated that she went crazy because she thought Alan went in the game.
Yeah.
And I see her reaction when they see the game and, like, they know they've got to complete it as well.
When they knock on the door.
Yes.
She just
It's like, nope.
nope. But here's a question: would you play it?
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
Fuck yeah, I would have.
Grand.
Absolutely.
I would play it in the middle of town, so all the animals came around town, and then just caused chaos.
What about you,
I
Grant?
think
Would
that's
you
just
play
a
it?
Saturday night in Newcastle.
I'd know, man. I'd definitely be playing the remake just to get an eyeful of Karen Gillian.
I've got to say, I've not seen the second one, but I really enjoyed the one with The Rock and Kevin Hart. I thought it was so much
So did
fun. Well, of course you did.
To be fair, though,
Karen is gorgeous.
there wasn't an official sequel as well. It was Zathura or something like that. It was a spin.
Zathura was actually quite good.
Yeah, it had Zathura.
Never even heard of it.
Yeah, it's based
It's
in
in
space.
space.
Of course it is. That's what they do afterwards, isn't it? We've done land, we'll go to space.
But like I say, there's with anything, like I say, there's scary elements when the plants start taking over the house and they start shooting the darts out and stuff like that, and how the game's coming to the crescendo, and, like, Robin Williams' biggest fear is Alan's is basically how his dad's like the hunter and stuff like that, and he's trying to get away from him. But again, the ending is amazing when and they go back, and then when the kids' parents are going to get the flight that they died on, and their reaction saying no, just absolutely pitch perfect, because you don't expect them to go that far or go that route, and then when they get rid of the game and at the end you hear the noises.
Yes.
On the beach.
Yes, but yeah.
Yes.
Jumanji, that I say was one of the ones that
Brilliant.
As soon as I thought about it, I was good.
Yeah.
It is fantasy, because like I say,
It is.
Look what it spawned as well. We've got an amazing cartoon. The Nickelodeon cartoon was really well done. Like I say, we had the sort of sequel, which again, I know Charlotte said it was good. I thought it was okay, but then we got the two ones with The Rock, and the even surpassing and like the ideas. To the point now where it's like a computer game. So cleverly done. So cleverly done, and especially the latest one as well with Danny Glover and Danny DeVito in is absolutely hilarious.
Is it really? Because I haven't watched it yet,
funny.
and it's only because I've been worried that it's gonna not be as funny as the first one, and I'm gonna be a bit let down.
Oh no, it's good. It's got the last thing out of Shang-Chi. I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not going to try it.
Awkwafina,
that's the one, and she is absolutely brilliant playing an old man. Like,
Excellent.
Absolutely unreal how funny she is.
Excellent. I need to watch it. I love the first one. I love the chemistry between Kevin Hart and The Rock. It just works, and in that setting as well.
I love Jack Black as a teenage girl.
Oh my god!
I think it's brilliant.
Something I never thought I'd want to see.
No, never. But
now I want more.
Absolutely amazing.
With the bit with the weaknesses with the characters, and what is it, cake or something like that? He's like, what the fuck, cake? It loses a life.
Yes.
Buckled me. Absolutely buckled me.
And the guy who does the who when they get to the car and he's on loop and he's like, "Welcome to Jumanji."
He's like an Australian actor or something, isn't he? Yeah.
He's a Kiwi, isn't he?
Australian.
Kiwi? No, I'm sure he's from New Zealand.
Possibly.
He's one of the werewolves in What We Do in the Shadows, and he was in one of the best episodes of The X-Files when it came back out. I couldn't tell you what the guy's name is, but I always reference him to the Jumanji. I goes, "Welcome to Jumanji." Just love him. He's so funny. Love it. What a pick. What a pick.
And The Rock, special powers is smouldering look.
Yeah.
But yes.
Sorry. I am going to watch that this week.
Cool.
God, there's so much I'm going to watch this week.
So that's my pick, Jumanji.
Brilliant.
Cool.
The Grant.
Yes, number 4.
We've had quite a few kids films and like films from my childhood and that kind of stuff there. So I'm going to take us right into the adult realm. But it's got witches, it's got battles in castles, it's got magic, it's got a big epic medieval battle at the end, and it's got a boomstick.
Evil Dead 2.
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness!
The necro.
Oh man, I was gonna pick Evil Dead 2, and then I was like, I don't want to pick anything horror related. Like I'm gonna stay away from it. But Army of Darkness, man.
Let's get this right. Army of Darkness is not a horror film.
No, that's not. No, you're right. I mean, it's not.
The continuity is absolutely amazing. It's like Evil Dead 2, we get sucked into the portal. It's like, but why is he back there? Bruce Campbell, boomstick, fuck you, just enjoy it. It doesn't have to make sense.
And then he becomes he's like a clerk, like a show clerk in now, but when he goes back in time, he can suddenly fashion a hand to work out of being a blacksmith. Fucking ridiculous to the nth where, yes, it works. I believe it. Bruce Campbell can do that.
It's the multiverse rule, really, isn't it?
No, it's the Bruce Campbell rule.
It's the multiverse. It's Bruce Campbell.
It's Bruce Campbell.
It's like, why did Arnie survive that explosion at the end of Predator? He's Arnie.
Yeah. Oh, what a pick.
What a pick. Go first.
I'll let you talk about it before we start going crazy.
I mean, again, it's comedic genius, coming off the back of Evil Dead 2, where obviously they added a lot of comedic elements into Evil Dead 2 because Evil Dead 1 was fucking ferocious.
I still love it.
To this, I absolutely. I don't know, what I said at the beginning there summed it up perfectly, was just the fact that it did, here's the sequel to Evil Dead. Let's make it a medieval battle with a shotgun and a car. But everything just slides together so well. The special effects, again, we're talking about for the time, with I've got a bone to pick with you and all the close-ups and the Deadites and everything, are absolutely spectacular. You got some A-list voice acting in there for horror as well, because you've got Bill Moseley doing a lot of the voice acting across the villains for Army of Darkness, which I only found out when I was an adult. It was like, this just makes it even better. And then depending on where you are in the world, depends on what ending you see.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
There's a few endings.
There is. There's the ending where he goes back. He takes these drops and he goes back to his life and he fights the witch in the department store and what have you. And then there's another one where he takes 3 drops and he wakes up and opens the cave and the apocalypse has happened and he's standing there going, "I slept too long."
It's like the Orson Welles Time Machine ending, that one, isn't it? Where
That's amazing.
but because the one with Grant, I think the original one was basically where he ends up in the store and telling the story, and they goes, "So did you say the words again?" He goes, "I said them as close as possible," and then you see the Deadite witch come flying out and gonna suck your soul into hell, and he starts doing all the ninja stuff like Bruce Campbell does on a skateboard with a shotgun.
I love that man so much.
Oh, the chin, he is absolutely perfect. I'm gutted as well because I've seen loads of pictures on Facebook. He's been at Wales Comic Con today.
Yes.
Yeah,
he has. No, it's guttering. What was that gonna? Did anyone like Ash versus Evil Dead?
Yeah,
I loved Ash versus Evil Dead.
So good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I just think Bruce Campbell is like the epitome of perfect. Like, he really is. He's just perfection. And I'm so hoping, because he's classed as a Sam Raimi actor, that we're going to see him in Doctor Strange.
100%.
He's fucking better.
He's already confirmed his cameo.
He's on
just going to make it so much good.
He's in the IMDb base as well, saying he's in the list for the film. But
you knew fine well he was going to be in it. Sam Raimi's in it. It's a comic book. He's going to be there.
Apparently, he had a cameo in Spider-Man, but it was cut.
Did you see his April Fools he did this week?
No.
He done he posted a picture on his Instagram of him saying, "I can't wait for this film to come out," and it was basically
Doctor Strange.
It was basically him in the makeup there dressed as Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
But it was an April
no, I've not seen it.
It was an April Fool's though, but it was so well done. I was like, "You cunt!" But
Army of Darkness though, Grant, what a pick.
But how hot
I'm so jealous.
But how hot is his girlfriend when she turns into a demon as well? I'm sorry, but when she turned into a Deadite, I found her more attractive. Probably says a bit more about me than anything else.
Just
I'm not happy unless there's bites and scratches anyway, mate, so that works for me.
But it was so different elements.
Coming down the stairs.
But even the little jokes in this as well, when it actually turns up in the medieval time and like the knights are starting to stab in his car with swords, because I've never seen a car before. It was like, yeah, that probably could happen. And what was the guy that was called something the Red or Redbeard or something like that they were fighting against? So I don't know.
Eric the Red, is it?
Eric the Red. So with him being in America, was this medieval time in America or is it just another dimension? That was the only premise I didn't get.
Did the Americans have a medieval time?
Bruce Campbell said so.
They're not that old.
Yeah, like I say, I love that elements, and the bits where he's fighting himself as well, and the little as I said, Gulliver's Travels type of element when all the little people are running around, and he's trying to stab them all, and it turns into he's
drinks the boiling water. Brutal scene. Oh, that's still a bit.
To be fair though, I did try and get Nick to watch it not too long ago, and she didn't like it. She was like,
Really?
Oh, she likes silly, but when it goes that silly, but I was like all for it. But yeah, Darkness.
Love it. I made Ant watch. I didn't. Ant made me watch it on one of my birthdays when we'd just been out, and he was like, "Want to watch a film?" And I was getting a hand. He went, "I really want to watch Army of Darkness." I was like, "Let's do it. Let's have some Bruce Campbell tonight, then."
Did anyone notice as well? I know that when they done the remake of The Evil Dead, the little spot at the end where the lass, when she's getting like after the horrific things and the car pulls up, he's got this shirt on. He's got Ash as a name tag.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Is this the most recent one that's been out?
Yeah.
Oh, I've not seen it.
Oh, it's not bad. It's not bad.
I've heard good things
right.
about it.
It's brutal. Like it's not a comfortable watch.
No.
So they basically did, everything that you wanted from Evil Dead, like as a horror film. They did it eventually.
Yeah, ramped it up to like Saw levels of violence.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, this list keeps getting bigger and bigger.
So many jokes.
Yep.
So
I give in now, mate. I really do. Like.
So we're going with Charlotte's fourth pick then.
So my fourth pick is another animation, because I'm a big kid. I don't know whether it kind of went under a lot of people's radar, so I don't know whether many people have seen it. It was DreamWorks' second biggest flop, but I absolutely adore it. It's got a voice cast that features Jude Law, Alec Baldwin, Isla Fisher, Hugh Jackman, Chris Pine, and it is Rise of the Guardians.
Is that the one with Jack Frost?
Yes.
Ah, it's like a Christmassy one.
It kind of is. It's kind of an all seasons one.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's based on books, but it's just for me. I mean, it came out in 2012, so I was in my 20s when I saw it, and for me, it just captured childhood wonder in a way that I hadn't seen much before. Like we've used the word a lot, but it is magical. It really is. The books that it's based on is called Guardians of Childhood, or Guardians of Childhood, something like that. And it's Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Sandman, Jack Frost, and the Tooth Fairy are called upon because pitch black is taking over kids' dreams and turning them to nightmares, and children are starting to not believe.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Wasn't it? Because it was Jude Law who played the bad guy, wasn't it?
He was brilliant.
He was
his voice. It was really, really good. But yeah, I just fell in love with it. Every time it's on the telly, I watch it. If I'm having a crap day and I'm feeling a bit meh and I need a day in bed, I'll put it on to make myself feel better, because it's childhood in a film.
I think the animation style was very like anime, like manga style, but not to the degree where, like, say, we watch anything. But I remember, because the reason why I think it's a Christmas film, because it's always on around Christmas time now. I think I've only watched it once or twice, but I think I'm a little bit like, I know it sounds like childish, like I probably was a little bit too old for me when I first watched it. I did enjoy it, but it didn't have like the magic memories or the moments like probably a Disney film would have. That element was kind of lost on us.
I loved Alec Baldwin as Russian Santa.
Yes.
He was brilliant. Russian tattooed Santa was amazing.
I'm just looking at photographs of the
BDSM dungeon.
I'm just looking at photographs of the animation of it. I do know what it is. I've never seen it. It looks fantastic though. It really does. You were right though. It was called The Guardians of Childhood.
It's one of them films where it should have done better than it did. But I think
absolutely.
But I think if it came out in the 90s, it would have absolutely swept the board. But I think it was.
I think it came out just 10 years too late.
Definitely. Like I say, I know my niece and nephew love this film. Like they watch it. Like I say, I've watched it with them over the Christmas period when we've had Christmas like with all the family there. But it's one of them things I think will never go away. It'll be one of them childhood classics as what we remember as kids, what our parents kind of handed down. So I think that's where it probably will lead to. But again, the story was decent. It was like Jack Frost trying to live up to his responsibility or coming like a coming of age film.
Yeah.
But it was done well, and not many of the DreamWorks films were done well, if that makes sense. I think of them look like were done slapdashed. I think that was probably because of how poorly this film did. A lot of the DreamWorks films were kind of rushed after this, because you could tell when you watch this film there was a lot of hours and a lot of time taken to make, because everything's smooth. All the animation is absolutely well done to the T in that one.
The cast is brilliant as well. The cast really is brilliant. It works. Hugh Jackman as the Easter Bunny is hilarious. It's hilarious.
To be fair, if it's got Hugh Jackman in it, it's going to be on Donna's list. So,
and it was actually quite nice to hear Hugh Jackman just as Hugh Jackman. He doesn't put on any accents. He uses like his Australian natural voice.
And
It's nice to hear sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's having fun as well. That's the main thing. But yeah, that was a nice pick. I like that one.
That's lovely.
Charlotte's definitely surprising us with these things.
You really are. Charlotte wins tonight, mind. Just with Clash of the Titans alone.
Well, to be
No,
fair.
Clash of the Titans won.
Oh, well then.
Oh, okay. This one took us a while to think of, and the minute I saw a picture of it, I was like, "Oh fuck yes, this is going in there." It's from 2006. It got 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It is directed and created by most brilliant mind, Guillermo del Toro. It is Pan's Labyrinth.
This is the saddest film ever.
Ever, but it's beautiful.
I was going to say it is stunning to look at.
Yes,
It's amazing to watch.
what Del Toro can do with monsters and creatures is just out of this world. It sometimes doesn't work, but when it does, it's Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is stunning. Absolutely stunning.
It's one of them films as well that you're so happy that Hollywood didn't get their hands on.
Yes. So much.
Because I think they would have taken elements out or changed things to try and change the story. Because he got to do it in his native language as well.
It would have been turned into English, like for us to understand. Like we can't read subtitles.
Yeah.
And was it Doug Jones, isn't it?
Oh, don't, because I'd call him Doug Bradley again. I don't want to do that. But it was Doug Jones, and it with the hands, like that creature is just like terrifying.
To be fair,
but beautiful.
The Thorn was scary enough. Like say that elements and stuff. This one's probably right up there for Grant Street as well, because like I say, the visuals, I think is just dark, moody, gothic, and like anything like say a childhood nursery rhyme should be.
Yeah, it's like the Grimm brothers' absolute worst nightmare in the imagery. Absolutely stunning. It's just so uncomfortable, all of it. Like you're talking about the guy with the eyes on his hands. It just makes it's got almost a Hellraiser vibe to it in the way that things are moving and shifting around with the demons. It's like not a difficult watch, but if you're not expecting it, like the first time I watched it, I knew nothing about it, and I was just, what the fuck am I watching? I was expecting David Bowie's knob.
To be fair though, I'm setting the backstory as well of the Spanish Civil War, and the way that was played out was just brutal. Like absolutely, that she had to escape in such a terrifying thing just to escape what she was actually going through as well is just heartbreaking.
It's not only like stunning to watch, it's a stunning example of storytelling.
Yes, and when he gets it right, because admittedly, I love the man, but he can sometimes get it very wrong.
Shape of Water.
I've not yet seen it. I am going to watch it. I was meant to watch it this week, but I bought Creature, didn't I? So I'll watch Creature instead.
But to be
I watched
fair,
the original.
But with this one as well, a lot of films, like I said, don't know how to pace, and like I said, just the pace, the tone, it takes you on that journey where you don't feel rushed, you don't feel like it's too long. It's just right.
Yeah.
And afterwards, you don't feel happy or sad. You just feel like you've been somewhere.
Yeah, you definitely feel like you've been on a journey. The two layers of the story is just phenomenal. The practicality of it all and how he does these monsters is just phenomenal. The man is a genius. The acting was, like you say, it's effortless because of how brilliant the storytelling is in it. The colors in the whole thing, like they catch your eye. Like I just love it. I absolutely adore this film so much. And it isn't like a happy film. It really isn't. But you still, I don't know, I still feel okay at the end of it.
It's amazing though, a lot of the fantasy films that we've talked about aren't happy tales.
No. Fantasy's not.
No, but yeah, but you can get, like, say, as Charlotte's went with hers, like, say, not rightly or wrongly, like, say, some quite colourful, bright, vibrant, where probably we're showing our age with Child of the 80s as well, is going for, like, quite dark and claustrophobic.
I think with fantasy, there's no sort of middle ground. It's either uplifting and happy, and it captures all that sort of childhood magic, or it's dark and it sort of delves into places in the mind that you shouldn't.
Yeah,
there's no you can't have like a middle ground fantasy where it's like, all right, it's kind of happy but it's kind of not.
Yeah,
it's one extreme or the other.
Totally agree with you. This one was sitting on the I don't know if I should pick it, but I was like, I have to, because it is the epitome of fantasy.
It's just an interesting one to talk about as well, though. That's the thing, because there's so many layers to it as well. It's a labyrinth, shall we say?
Yes.
It's just one of the ones that you don't expect, and it kind of afterwards. I know it sounds really strange, but you don't know if you enjoyed it.
Yes.
It's like, I think the best way I could describe it is when you were a child and you used to have like the Volt batteries, you used to keep licking on your tongue. Never felt weird, but you used to always keep doing it. It's one of them type of experiences, because it's...
I totally get what he means though.
Because you kind of enjoy it, but you know you shouldn't.
Yeah. I must admit I had to watch it a second time. Because the first one was such an experience. I'm gonna have to watch it again. So, but I do that with a lot of films. It's like it's a comfort thing. I watch it again because I know what's gonna happen. So I was okay watching this one again.
I think it's a lot to take in the first time you watch it, isn't it?
I'll probably watch it a few times, but it's not one of them ones I could watch every year.
No. It's not. No, it's like something that you could wait for a very long time between.
I'm not that much of a sadist, so yeah. So.
And well, I am. I watch The Exorcist nearly every other month, so.
That's just because she likes to see the spinning heads. So.
He's not wrong.
Yes.
So yeah, Pan's Labyrinth is my fourth pick.
Cool. So we're moving on to my fourth one.
Do you have a fourth one?
Yes, I've got another two, so don't worry. This one kind of spoilt and given away with like the image that I've used to advertise the podcast. This week. It's probably going back into the 80s. It's probably the most sexual awakening type film for a lot of people. It is the sexiest fantasy film. I don't care what people say. It's Legend with Tom Cruise, Tim Curry, and the absolutely stunning Mia Sara.
Yeah.
And in that black dress, I'm sorry.
That black dress.
And Tim Curry as, again, that voice, and as the devil, I'm sorry, is sexy. That's the only way you can do it.
That makeup as well, the prosthetics and everything is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
And Tom Cruise isn't annoying in it.
I don't find Tom Cruise annoying in quite a lot of films. I know he is in real life, but I'm going to put this out there. I've not seen it.
Really?
You were going to say that.
Really, really. I get wrong off Anthony absolutely loves it. We had an argument over The Devil because I swore it was Dave Grohl and he was like, it's fucking not. We really got into it on that one. He had to really prove us wrong. So yeah, I've not seen it.
This one must be up your street, Grant. Don't let it just be
It's
me.
been a long time since I've seen it, mate. Maybe in my teens. I've got nothing but fond memories of it, but I don't have a lot of immediate recall other than just having enjoyed it. It's just one of them that I've never really picked up on since my childhood. Kind of like Dark Crystal. I haven't seen that since I was a bairn either.
No, like I say, it just have the elements in this, but like I said, the whole premise, like I said, this is along with the nether end of the story when it goes around like fantasy. Before we had Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit, like I said, this give us goblins, this give us pixies. There was a chase for the ring as well. It gave us unicorns.
That green river monster thing was terrifying. The voice and as soon as you mention legend, that's what I see in here.
Yeah,
it was terrifying.
But the whole premise is basically Mirisara's being kidnapped by the goblins to take for the darkness, which is the devil. And like I said, if you ever want to look at goblins and anything, these are absolutely menacing, scary beasts. There's one that's like a pig monster that's just hideous. But Tom Cruise has basically set this task that she'll marry him if he retrieves the ring, and she throws the ring like a petulant child over a waterfall and he dives in, and as soon as he dives in, the goblins kill one of the, because there's only 2 unicorns left in the world, and kills one of them and chops the horn off and brings darkness on the world again, and the ice, the lake, everything freezes over, so Tom Cruise is stuck underwater, have to break through the ice to get out, and he goes on this mission to get the girl back, and she's been seduced by the darkness by Tim Curry, and there's a ballroom scene which I say, even if you YouTube it, just say for this scene, it is unbelievably well done. And it's just basically her turn from this beautiful innocent girl to this evil, dark, the Sam version, the goth version of it, so we say. And if you're a goth or like anything alternative, this is unbelievable. It is such.
I'm just Googling it now.
the dress. The dress.
Yes. And the costumes in this is just for the 80s as well. Like I say, the soundtrack's absolutely smashing. It's everything you want in a fantasy, especially a dark fantasy as well, because this isn't for kids. This, if this came out for kids, they wouldn't understand it because it was terrifying. And even
my god!
Yeah,
sorry.
The dress.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Anthony, that's what we're watching tomorrow night.
But I'm trying to think as well, because I'm sure it was a Ridley Scott one as well. Ridley Scott directed it.
I'll tell you, I'm right on it. Hang on.
It was one of Tom Cruise's first film, if not his first film.
You're right. Ridley Scott.
Yeah. But anything from the set, even the Pixies, one of the Pixies is in love with Tom Cruise, so she tries to seduce Tom Cruise with pixie dust, goes all Tinkerbell on him and gets angry. But it's so well done, and so interesting as well. So yeah,
I'm gonna watch that tomorrow night.
The best way I could describe it is it's a goth fantasy.
That dress! I've screenshotted it. Bloody hell!
But yeah, as soon as you see, as I said, Tim Curry, he's unrecognisable, and his voice, Jesus Christ, his voice.
That's the only thing I've not, I've seen imagery, everyone's seen imagery of it. I've never heard the voice. I've never heard him talk or move or anything like that. And adores this film. Now I know why. So I do want to. He's off tomorrow night. I'm definitely making that as a suggestion.
I'll definitely up there. So, yeah, so that is my fourth pick. Is Legend.
Awesome beans.
Cool. So we're back to Grant for his final pick. So what have you left us to last?
Mate, I've been flitting on my fifth because I saw a film the other day that's a British low-budget fantasy film that absolutely blew me away. But I'm not going to chuck that one in favour of another childhood favourite. Lots of oiled up nakedness. And a halfway decent remake. Arnie looking as hench as he's ever been in his entire life. Conan the Barbarian.
I watched the first 20 minutes of it last night. What a film!
Kev's going to be so happy because he shouted at me because it wasn't on my list.
The minute you said oiled up, I knew exactly where it was going.
To be fair, I thought he was going Top Gun, but no, that's fine.
Cue the Kenny Loggins.
Take me to the danger zone.
It's him putting on the volleyball scene as well. It's a song called "Playing with the Boys."
It's on my playlist. Playing with the boys. Yeah.
Nothing a bit like homoeroticism did just kick us off there, so that's fine.
Oh, we are talking about Conan, so.
I mean, Conan the Barbarian does have that in abundance as well. It's just like, right, well, we can't get him to say anything, so what can we get him to do? It's like, let's just get him running around half naked, swinging a sword about. We'll get Grace Jones in this mix.
Yes!
You just want her to spank you with the fucking stuff. Sorry. But no, seriously, it's got amazing imagery in it from the time. You know, it's not a special story. You know what I mean? My family was wiped out, and I'm going to go on a little journey of revenge. You know what I mean? There's nothing that hasn't been done a million times before, but it's another one where I saw it when I was a child and was just absolutely blown away with how real everything that I was watching actually felt. And obviously, you know, the mid 80s, late 80s, Arnold Schwarzenegger was arguably the biggest actor on the planet.
Yeah.
Definitely the biggest star on the planet. Maybe not the biggest actor. I don't think anybody can say that his acting abilities are worthy of the Royal Shakespeare Company.
No, not at all. But hey, he made it work. He's made it work.
It's going to be a cool winter.
Yeah.
I told Anth what our list was, and he went, I'm not, obviously he knows it better than anyone how badly I've not seen films. He put Conan straight on last night and I was so tired. I was like, I would watch like the first 20-30 minutes of it and I had to go to sleep. So we're going to watch the end of it tonight. But holy shit, James Earl Jones, when he takes the hair, mind you, wow, takes his helmet off and he's like staring at his mum and he's like, and like probably giving the eyes to her and then cuts her head off. I screamed.
I just love that.
I thought he was seducing her.
I just love it. It was a comic book film as well. Like say Conan was a comic. I didn't realise till years later that it was based on the comics, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah. From what I watched, the dubbing is terrible.
No.
Terrible. Because obviously it's obviously their voices, but done over the top of their acting. And it just doesn't go, but I still fucking loved it. Especially the witch scene. I was screaming the place down.
It's a scene with like all the 80s imagery like in one. Like any type of like action like films that you think they probably use sets from old 80s films all over the place. But that
sex scene was hilarious though.
It was Bridget Nielsen in it as well, wasn't it?
No, is it Bridget Nielsen? That's not Bridget Nielsen. No, she's Red Sonja.
Red Sonja, that's the one. Yeah, sorry, that's my bad.
It's probably the ultimate 80s fantasy movie, isn't it?
Yes.
Like,
any fantasy film, like I say, you just want to be a muscled up dude, just going around doing what you wanted,
pushing a circle round and round for like until you get as built as Arnie.
I love that.
I couldn't stop laughing at that. Ant was like, all I remember is him pushing this circle, and then as a boy, and then he's Arnie, and it actually happened.
I can't remember the end though. Like, say me.
Well, I haven't seen it, so I'm going to watch it tonight.
I remember the film. I remember watching it, but I can never remember how it ended.
Does he cut
Like
James Earl
monster
Jones'
gets his
head off?
vengeance.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how they all end. Sammy, if you haven't seen the original and you want something to give you a little bit of a tingle as well, the remake is pretty. It does it okay, but it's got Jason Momoa in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
A bit of
forgot
Khal
about that one.
Drogo.
Yeah. Just,
Him running around with a sword. It's got an amazing. When I went to see it at the cinema, there's a little bit where he's captured the girl and she just goes, "Why do you have to tie me up?" And a girl at the back of the cinema scream, "Because it's more fun that way."
oh dear.
Mint.
But
Brilliant.
like I said, that one's a little bit more PC and a little bit toned down. Like that, the like I say, it was a lot more brutal and stuff like that. But I've said, like I said, they tried to do a sequel a few years ago, with Arnie as well. But it never got off the ground.
Oh, bless him. No, just leave it as it
No.
is. The scene that I
There's
love.
already one sequel.
Is
There's
it?
one on
Oh,
Destroyer as well.
yes, that's right.
No, but I thought they were supposed to do because they wanted to do the full more, but
As Arnie now.
no, because it was supposed to be Arnie. I'm sure the plan to do it must have been about 10 years ago, but it was just before he got into politics. So as soon as he got into politics, they kind of canned it because they're trying to reboot it as well. But that's when I think Jason Momoa took over.
Well, the scene last night that absolutely tickled my funny bone was when the dogs chased him, and then all of a sudden he's walking around with dog plates all over him. I was in bits. You didn't have to see it. That's what I liked about it. And then he's just walking around, he's just got dog all over him. I fucking love this film. That's why I say, Stan, like, can you turn it off? Because I genuinely want to watch the end of this. So I'm going to watch it tonight.
Bless. Yeah, so Conan, I didn't expect that would have been one of the picks, but like I say, it is a good one. So I'm glad that one got named.
I was hoping it was going to get picked, but I couldn't pick it given that I'd only seen like 20, 30 minutes of it. Yeah.
So we're going to Charlotte for our last pick. Are we off to Wonderland, or we're not going there?
No, we're not. We nearly were. No, it is based on a book. It is based on one of my favourite authors ever. And it was my last pick because I had my list all done. And then I sat down and I think I was at work and I put a film and I was like, how did I forget about this film? I was like, it is my ultimate fantasy film. It's Stardust.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman. I nearly mentioned it earlier, but I thought it might be on someone's pick, so I was like, no, I'll not bring it up.
I beat myself up so much for not thinking of this straight away because Neil Gaiman is probably one of my favourite fantasy writers ever. And I put it on and I was like, it's got to be Stardust.
It's just
Do you
beautiful.
want to know something?
Did I see
You've never seen it.
No, I've seen it. I have actually seen it. I've actually seen this one. I can join in.
Oh, wait, Charlotte, sell us Stardust. I love it, but I'd like to say I really want you to, because I know how much of a fan you are of Neil Gaiman.
Generally didn't know it was Neil Gaiman though. Sorry to interrupt before you start. I generally didn't know it was Neil Gaiman. Just until that moment right there.
Yeah.
But I have just joined the Neil Gaiman gang as of Monday. Thanks, guys.
It's just everything. The cast, the director, Jonathan Ross's wife, Jane
Goldman.
Yeah,
Goldsmith.
Something like that, yeah. She helped write the screenplay.
Yes, she did.
She is.
It just captured it brilliantly. Like, I even didn't... It's one of my favourite Neil Gaiman books. It's not very long, but I even didn't get annoyed that they sort of changed characters because it worked so well. They added characters, they gave characters... Like, Michelle Pfeiffer's character in the book is barely in it. She's only got such a big part in the film because she's Michelle Pfeiffer and they thought it would sell the film a bit more.
Kind of did though. Like,
Yeah.
it really did. Like, she was fantastic in it.
Robert De Niro's character not in the book, and he's brilliant.
Yes.
it's a who's who of British comedy as well. Like all the brothers are all British comedians. Peter O'Toole is the dad, and I just love it.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's got the guy out of Only Fools as Robert De Niro's skipper. What's he called?
I don't think he's got a proper name, is he?
I'm trying to think. No, I'm trying to remember his name because he's actually a big director now. He directs a few things, but
it's been a while. I think I watched it when it first came out, and I don't think I've ever seen it since.
But he was in Lock, Stock as well.
The main cast alone, like not even the main cast, it's Claire Danes, it's Charlie Cox, it's Henry Cavill, it's Ian McKellen, Mark Strong, Sienna Miller. It works. It's got all the right ingredients.
Like I said, Daredevil versus Superman. You never thought you would see it. But like I said, even that lass who played the witch, who had his mum chained up, she was a British actress as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely like beautiful, like storytelling at its finest. It felt again. Actually, I know going cross platforms, but it felt a little bit like Hellboy 2 as well in the fantasy realm. Like I say, that type of element to it, I quite liked. But it knew what it was doing. It was being stupid to the point where it didn't care. And being Neil Gaiman as well, all the characters were fleshed out perfectly. The main ones as well.
It was Neil Gaiman who actually bought Jane Goldman. It was Neil Gaiman who brought Jane Goldman into it, because he didn't feel that Matthew Vaughn had captured sort of like the romance of it. So that's why he brought her into it. So the fact that he was heavily involved in the film as well.
She's a hell of a writer, Jane. She did a brilliant job on Kick-Ass.
Well, to be fair though, Neil Gaiman's been very protective of his work since what happened with Neverwhere on the BBC, and how they kind of not fucked it over, but basically didn't do his vision well. So that's
the book I'm just getting.
Yeah. Basically, they made a TV show.
All right.
And he did it with Lenny Henry, and the BBC got heavily involved and changed it. It's still a good show, but it's not up there. So what he did, he said he wasn't happy with this version, so he brought out a book. And when you read the book is absolutely top level.
Yeah.
That's why Stardust got so long to make. So a studio bought the rights to Stardust, but every time they tried to make it, Neil Gaiman was like, "No, this isn't my book." The rights eventually reverted, and Neil Gaiman personally handed them to Matthew Vaughn and said, "I want you to do it."
I bet Alan Moore wishes he had that much control.
To be fair though, as much as Alan Moore is a whiny wizard, but he gets paid. That's all he cares about.
Oh, I know. I'm in no defense of Alan Moore. I love the man, but yeah, he gets his money. Yeah. But no, I love the fact that Neil Gaiman is, because if Alan Moore was that bothered, he'd fight, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
But Neil Gaiman does and make sure it goes to the right people. I have a lot of time for him as a person. I can't wait to be on your levels when it comes to how much you, because when we were out on Monday and you were talking about like American Gods, the pair of yous lit up, like totally were just on one, and I loved it. That's why I'm not so worried if I don't finish the book by the time we come to review it, because I love listening to you two talk. It'll be like the Harry Potter episode all over again.
To be fair, that'll just be me and Charlotte saying, "Do you love this? Do you love that? This character's
I love this.
But like, see, if we had enough time, I would always suggest reading Neverwhere first, because I think that's always a good gateway into Neil Gaiman's dark side. Okay. But American Gods is up there with the best books I've ever wrote.
Yeah. Well, I was going to read the Norse mythology one because I'm really excited about reading that one, but I was going to read American Gods straight afterwards because we were going to do a review on it. But if you recommend Neverwhere, I'll do that first. I just love how you just pastors it. It's like, there you go.
To be fair, though, like I said, it's not life-changing, but it does make you want to read books more when you read them type of books, because you can't put them down. It was up there with, like, I know it sounds cheesy, but when I read Yes Man for the first time, that book changed my life.
No, I'm getting it. The Harry Potters, I'm there now with them. Like, I'm getting into the swing of it. I'm past Chamber of Secrets, basically.
and just before we do move on as well, I want to say how amazing Michelle Pfeiffer was in that film.
Oh.
in
She
Stardust.
really was. She really was.
And every element like she was in was just outstanding, like hammy to the point. Like, you didn't want to hate her, but you kind of did by the end of it.
It was nice to not taking herself so seriously and taking the mickey out of herself a little bit, like
And like say,
taking the mickey out of herself getting old, basically.
yeah, no, 100%.
Which was quite refreshing to see.
And Claire Danes, like I know, like I said, she's had some good roles, bad roles, but she was unrecognisably amazing in that film as well. Like I said, just so pure and innocent.
I don't really have like an opinion on her. Like, I wouldn't not watch it because Claire Danes was in it.
Oh,
but
no,
I do get what you mean though. But she's not who I think of when I think of this film.
No.
Like I go straight away to Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer or Charlie Cox. That was the making of Charlie Cox. Like
Oh,
say this
absolutely.
role.
Yeah.
You wouldn't see him in Daredevil if you didn't see him in this.
Oh my God, I've just seen a picture of him. And just because you said Charlie Cox, I can now see Charlie Cox. I could not see. Wow, okay. Okay.
I mean, it was 15 years ago, I think.
Oh yeah, but it doesn't feel like that.
I watched it the other day, and it hasn't aged. Like I think it's probably going to go down as one of those timeless films.
Right.
And one of Ricky Gervais's first film roles as well.
Richie ad-libbed.
Yeah.
Of course he did. Oh, she did.
Grant's very quiet in this one. Have you? Is this one that you've seen or?
I have seen it, mate. Much the same as like when Charlotte was going over the DreamWorks movies and that kind of stuff. This came out at a time where I had managed to successfully fertilize a female, and had,
Well done.
come back from a DVD shop or whatever it might have been with something to keep the band quiet. And I ended up falling in love with the DreamWorks films as a result. But I get so much of the imagery between Stardust and the Golden Compass mixed up because I bought them both on the same day, watched them both on the same day. Obviously, I go straight back to Robert De Niro's character with it. I thought he was absolutely fantastic in Stardust, but there's other elements of the storyline where I'm like, was that the one with James Bond where he's got a great big cat following him around? Or, was that the bit where the polar bear gets chinned? It's like I say, there's just so much crossover with it that I don't have a lot of real memory of the film other than snapshots.
Certainly. No, I'd say it's one of them things where I think a lot of people haven't actually seen it, which is a big surprise because when we talked about in the Nerdy Up North group, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, I've never seen this one," and we were like, "Where have you been?"
Even I've seen it.
Yes. So yeah, great pick. Like I say, it's going to take a lot to top Charlotte's this week, so well done.
I don't think my next pick is gonna top anything. I just fucking love this film, and I only watched it first lockdown. Again, it was something that kind of scared us a little bit because I just felt it was of the Dark Crystal-y type of realm, but it's not. It is from 1988. And I just have to say, Mad Mardigan! It's Willow.
Oh, the Val Kilmer weird film.
Take that back. Take that back. Val Kilmer is amazing in this film. Warwick Davis, on the other hand, honestly, I was ready to kick him.
He's
because
coming back.
I know, and I can't wait. But every time he kept screaming Mad Mardigan, I was like, that's just going to stay with me for a really long time. I loved it.
What's he called? Peck.
Yes.
Peck.
Yeah, and it's so, again, magical. Like I felt so happy when I watched it. Like it was ridiculous. I was like, how have I waited my whole life to watch this? It was brilliant.
I was fortunate to see it on the pictures, and there's elements I do enjoy about Willow. I don't want to shit at it because it's not a bad film.
It's not. I totally get it if you did though.
But I think it's one of them films where it has a brilliant start. Like the start of it is great. The little pixie characters are great. Then it goes into some hairy beast climbing up a wall, turning up to a giant snake monster, which is just fucking weird. And then
We are talking fantasy here, mind.
yeah, but it was to the point where I was like, this is bizarre for no reason. But then the culmination, like I say, went very Masters of the Universe.
Yeah.
Which again was a big disappointment when I first saw it. But I think that was the whole end bit. Like I say, it kind of didn't flow well for me. But I can totally get why people like Willow or understand it. But I think there was a lot of films done around about the time, similar type of themes, that were done a lot better.
No, I get that. And I probably would think the same if I watched it back then. I just watched it as an adult and I was like, oh my God, this is great. This is just, it was just tight. Like it was effortless to watch it. Like it didn't put I didn't have to put a lot of thought into it. I was riding high at the time on Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I'd like literally done the whole extended Lord of the Rings, like the freaking 4-hour long versions. I was reading the books. So I was proper living the fantasy lifestyle. And then I watched Willow and I was like, yeah.
I did like the redhead, the lass who played the
Of course you did.
Sorcerer's daughter.
She is beautiful.
Reminds us very much of Christina Hendricks now. But
yeah.
But like I say, her and Val Kilmer had great chemistry, shall we say?
It's just a sweet film. There was nothing like bad, like terrible about it. It's not Arthur. Like I'll agree. Like I thought I'd get a lot of shit for Arthur, to be honest with you, because that film's fucking horrendous. But no, I liked how I felt after I watched it. Like I can totally understand the criticisms when it comes to it. There's some annoying parts in it. Like even freaking, Warwick Davis, I really honestly could just punch him with the amount of times he screams his name. But I just got this sense of joy and happiness when I finished watching it. So there's my last pick.
One of the things with Willow that I've always thought, I've kind of got similar criticisms to Paul with it, and I've always just thought that basically George Lucas had kind of looked at Warwick Davis and thought, mate, I'm sorry for stuffing you in that bear costume. Here's a film where you don't have to dress as a bear. How does that sound, mint? All right, awesome.
Wow, you just totally nailed it there, mate.
But I think with Willow as well, it's got some good ideas, but it felt like so many films of the time crossed over, like Masters of the Universe. Even had a film of the Three Musketeers, elements when they're when Mad Mardigan's trying to escape with the baby, when he's dressing up as a woman, all them different elements. But again, it's just it's one of the ones where I wanted to like it. I loved the idea, but I just think the ideas were just George, as you said, George Lucas just went,
I'm sorry.
I like pixies. We'll put pixies in. I like witches turned into goats and sheep and turned into an old woman. I like that. We'll put that in. Right, we'll have an evil sorceress in a castle. People turn to pigs. Yes, this will work.
Yeah.
And it just.
Who are we going to get to direct it? That kid off Happy Days.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey, Gremlins 2 was a thing, so.
Gremlins 2.
Gremlins 2 is brilliant.
It's just the concept of it. I always go back to that Key and Peele sketch. It's just the best. But it's just exactly what Paul said, just shoving shit in everywhere and trying to make it work.
We're still need to work out what happens if you piss on a gremlin. I'm still wanting to find out.
It's the age-old question.
Yeah.
I don't think. Can I just ask? Is it raining outside?
It is, yes.
Right.
Sitting by the window.
I don't know if I've been looking out my window thinking I can hear someone outside. It must be the rain, not the window. Right?
To be fair though, it is the anniversary. It can't rain all the time.
Oh yes, it was the 31st of March. Oh, what a way to bring it down, Paul.
Well, to be fair though, I'll bring it back up with my next pick, so it's fine.
Yes, let's go for it.
I'm gonna mute Sam because she's not gonna kick off about this or moan about
I won't kick off. I promise.
Well, to be fair, it's the look of the layout. I could not have it.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Right, you get muted.
No, I won't. I'll not say anything. Zip.
But yes, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Like I say, the first ever fantasy film that I ever seen. That changed my viewing for movies. Full stop. When I saw this, it just transported us to something that I've never experienced before, and I've never had the same feeling again. And everything from the start, middle, end, characters. I know there was a lot of shit backstage about the Munchkins having orgies, which again, that's their
Did they?
business. Yep.
Yeah, apparently.
The little fella's got a bit frisky, but yeah, it was the Voz, and this just again, if you want magic, if you want lions, tigers, and bears, oh my, as a story, as a tale, it's given so much, and it's just perfect.
Can I say one positive thing about it?
Mhm.
Because I don't like this film, right? I love the Technicolor.
Mhm.
I love when she walks into the Emerald City and you see them horses and they are purple. And I am like, that's the only bit of the film I like, is that bit right there. And Technicolor. I was so blown away when I found out how Technicolor worked. Like, it blew my mind. That's the only positive I can give of this film. Sorry.
Yeah.
You may continue.
But yes, like I said, Judy Garland as Dorothy. Like I say, I know she had a troubled past after this, but
Oh.
geez,
After it, before it, during it,
Oh.
in it.
like I say, I know it sounds weird, but the essence of innocence, like say, as a little girl just wanting to go home and having a little dog Toto too, but meeting some wacky and weird characters like the Tin Man, Scarecrow, and the Lion. Like I say, they're so relatable as well.
I think it shows how good Judy Garland was, because if you didn't know about any of that, you wouldn't have guessed it. Because
No, not at all.
She is an innocent girl wanting to get home in that film.
Yeah.
It's her life, though. She's just an innocent girl just wanting to get by, and Hollywood just stamped all over her from the beginning. It wasn't even like it was from the beginning of her career. It's just awful what they did to her. She's an absolute legend. I know I don't like this film for many reasons, but it does not mean I don't have a lot of love for Judy Garland.
To be fair though, every scene in this is iconic. Like from dropping a house on a witch, getting the ruby red slippers, Glinda the good witch coming in on the bubble. Like I say,
Her voice does my head in.
right. I'm gonna mute Sam now.
Oh, sorry.
So if
I'm trying to be nice.
If you've enjoyed speaking about Sam, bye. Right, she's on it. So right, I'm done with Sam now. But yes, like I say, every element, like even the songs, like even the creepy ones from like I Am the Lollipop Guild, from the weird looking people, which is just like say stand on your hairs, stand on your hand, like good, and like say that voice when she sings Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Honestly, it breaks anyone's heart. I dare anyone not to enjoy it. And I know Sam doesn't like the film, and like say, going from the Wicked Witch to the West, like say that cackle, that
She
look,
was so scary.
yep. And fly, my pretties, fly.
Who is she? What the actress who played her?
I can't remember her name, but like I say,
I don't know.
My Google's working. Because I don't know why I thought it was the woman who played Frankenstein. But am I wrong?
Oh, no, it's not.
No, it was
Elsa.
Margaret Hamilton, sorry.
Yeah.
I know the
Right.
guy who played the Tin Man ended up with lead poisoning because they used lead paint to
Never.
actually paint them.
Never.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did he die from that?
No, he didn't die, but he got very unwell.
Oh, right, okay. Sorry. I was like, oh, this is getting more intriguing. Is the story true about when they're going off to see the wizard and you see the backdrop of the trees? Is there a hanging person on the tree?
No.
Is that just myth?
Just myth and
It's
folklore.
one of those Hollywood things, isn't it?
Right.
Like I say, there's a lot of stuff that did go on in the backstory. Like I say, the Munchkin orgies were true, and they were horrible to Judy Garland as well. The Munchkins bullied basically everyone on set, which again sounds strange, but they caused a lot of trouble and strife. Like I say, the guy who played the Cowardly Lion didn't enjoy it one bit as well. Supposedly he had a lot of bad things to say about the film after it came out, because he said it ruined his career, because he said he was
Oh my
he
gosh.
says he was never taken serious again. But
For being
Wow.
such a magical film,
Mhm.
the story behind it, behind
Yeah,
the
it's
scenes,
pretty sad.
is
from-
really sad. Like, yeah.
But I used
It
to
was
always-
made in 1939.
But yeah, like say, and again, it's a film that cannot be remade. I know they try to do a sequel with, prequel, with James Franco with special.
Watch
effects.
where they're thinking.
I thought you were talking about the other one.
Oh, well, the other one, like say, they went all dark and scary, and Return to Oz was a triumph of a movie, but it wasn't
Brilliant, but it was terrifying.
It was not an Oz film though. That's the thing.
No.
One absolutely stunning remake of it, The Wiz.
The Wiz, yes.
Oh wow,
Wiz.
yes.
Michael Jackson
On
as
that.
the Scarecrow.
Diana Ross and Michael Jackson, man.
Oh.
The Wizard of Oz with a funky Motown soundtrack. It's
Yes.
To be fair though, I prefer the stage performance to the actual film. I think the film didn't quite work as well, but the stage performance of The Wiz is chef's kiss amazing. But
I've never seen the movie.
But yeah, if you ever get a
I didn't
chance to see the theatre performance of The Wiz, I would highly recommend. It's up there for with Wicked. But
Cool.
with this, like I say, I love it how Toto just basically runs around and does what he wants as well and starts causing shit with like lots of different people.
Yeah.
But how scary
He's
were the flying monkeys as well? Like, fly, my pretties, fly.
I was more scared of the ones in Return to Oz. They were more
movie
terrifying.
things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck that.
that
Stuff for nightmares, that film.
Yep, that film is terrifying. Yep, Toto has his own statue in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. It's proper lovely. I do like it.
But yeah, like say, I know it's not one of your favourite films.
It's not, and I don't know why. I just don't. I can appreciate it because it's classic.
Yeah.
But it's just not something I'm going to go out my way to watch. I'm really not. It's like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I can't stand that film.
No,
Can't stand Willy Wonka.
like say on a personal level as well, this one has so much more meaning because like me and my wife love this film as well, and it's one of the things that like brings us so close together because we like themed our wedding on it. Like she wore the ruby red slippers on it were wedding shoes. All our bridesmaids had different colours of the rainbow. Like each.
Oh, they look stunning.
And like say when we walked out like after the ceremony, we had somewhere of the rainbow playing and stuff like that, and it was just even the bouquet. Like she made like individual bouquets for herself and all the bridesmaids out of buttons and all multicolours and everything like that. But yeah, like say I love this film. Like and I know I got joking with Sammy as well because I know Sam doesn't like it. So that's fair enough. Everyone's got different opinions, but this one's more personal to me than any of the rest.
Yeah.
So that's why I am quite protective of it.
No, I totally get it. Like I know you and Nick very well, so I understand that. I just can't lie to you either.
That's why you got put on mute. But yes.
I wasn't talking anyway.
But yeah, so that's my
think
last. Sorry.
it's probably one of the first films I remember seeing because my mum, with it being a musical as well, my mum loved musicals.
Yeah.
Oh, my
and
mum would
I-
slap the taste out of my mouth if she could hear me talk, and she loves it.
It's one of those films I remember watching like every Christmas when it was on, and yeah,
It was always like a special occasion when The Wizard of Oz was on TV, and you
Yeah.
know, everything had to stop to like say to watch it as well. Like I say, as you said, it's one of my dad's favorite films. It's my mom's favorite film. It's my grandparents' favorite film as well. All them different aspects, and as you said, when she taps her heels together 3 times and says, "There's no place like home," and she goes home, and you find out, like say, it's got the little twist ending as well. Like before it was cool doing twist endings. Before it was cool as well. Did she really go to Oz, or was she knocked on the head? Because all the people, you were there too.
you were there and you were there.
Yeah. But yeah, like I say, it's just a magical film.
I love how happy you get when you talk about The Wizard of Oz. Like, you totally beam. I'll stop shitting on it now. I can't take that smile away. That was fun.
Cool. So that's our top 5, guys. Anything you just want to add before we wrap up?
I'm going to admit this was a
Honourable
hard one.
mentions.
Honourable
Oh, yeah, Charlotte, I barely was able to pick 5.
just want to point out as well, we did ban, like I say, Grant and Sam talking about the Wizard, not the Wizard of Oz,
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
That's what we banned Lord of the Rings, but nobody mentioned The Hobbit.
Hobbit, yep.
We thought that was in the same category.
No, we haven't done a podcast on the Hobbit.
I didn't put Harry Potter in there.
I didn't put Harry Potter in there.
We did I just thought we'd done podcasts on them. I don't even think I could talk about The Hobbit for about 5 minutes. Like I like it. It's just not as good as Lord of the Rings. Just saying.
I've got a good honourable mention. I mentioned it before that there was this new British film that I'd watched the other day, and I think it really, really deserves a shout out. I was just going through a streaming site and happened upon this movie. It's called Dragon Knight. Only came out this year. It's very, very low budget, and without a hint of sarcasm or criticism about this, it obviously shows that it's been done on a shoestring budget. You know what I mean? There's a bit with a witch, and they've clearly got a fancy dress, bridesmaids out of it, and spray painted it black, and all of this kind of stuff. They've very much done what they can with what they've got with this movie, but from start to finish, it is nothing but entertainment. And you know, yeah, there's a dragon in it. Yeah, they've saved a lot of money for the CGI that made the dragon and what have you, and they've cut corners, but they've done it so well. One of the big things that stood out for me about this movie, there's a fight sequence in it where a guy fights against 3 knights. And I mean, honestly, this Christopher Lambert's solicitors must have been onto this guy for the performance, because it's just Highlander to a T. He's going to get sued. But considering that all the battle sequences are done with a cast of about 5 or 6 people, even when they're emulating much bigger battles, the fight continuity in it is absolutely outstanding. You know, the little things I'm talking about where somebody swings and the camera angle changes and all of a sudden somebody's changed places or something like that. Those tiny little things in these movies, you know, or, you know, somebody goes up with a pint glass and it had a head on it and then it doesn't have a head on it. And you're like, oh, you could have sorted that out. The amount of heart and soul that has gone into making this low budget movie, and the tiny little things like keeping those fight sequences, which are very fast cut, so tight, I was absolutely blown away with it. It's very, very heartwarming. It is going to give you a giggle because there's bits that are hammy. But like I said about Christopher Lambert as well, like if you gave this guy a big budget to do it, you'd see Jennifer Lawrence playing the female character, and you'd see Malcolm McDowell playing the king in it. And the king is actually so close to Malcolm McDowell that when he popped up, I was like, oh, so that's where all the fucking budget went to buy it. But anyway, look, I've spoke too long, but the movie's called Dragon Knight. It came out this year, and if you want something that, you know what, I'd go so far as to say, it is to fantasy what bad taste is to horror.
Right.
Oh.
It's done on a shoestring, but it's an absolutely amazing piece of work, and I'd love to see these people get the money to do what they envisaged with $1 million instead of 20 pence.
But don't you think though, fantasy is just, if it's not hammy, it ain't fantasy.
True. I just want to point out as well that, like I say, we've lost the chat when we start talking about Munchkin orgies. Donna and Michael have just basically lost themselves in doing research about the.
I haven't had the chat open tonight because I've had my list on my phone.
So you'll, if you look back, them two have just went crazy since we mentioned.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Thank you for people for staying in the chat with all that going on.
But yeah, I've got 2 honourable mentions. Like I said, that I was flirting about with. One, again, a little bit similar to what Grant was talking about. It's like an oldie dragon film called Dragonheart with Sean Connery.
I bumped that for Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, like I say, I thought that was a good deal.
I love it.
But also as well, I mentioned it about one of the stories of the books, like say a child book, but Lemony Snicket. I love
those films.
Yeah, I love the Jim Carrey film.
Yes.
It was done really well. Like, but the books are so much better. That was already almost there, but. Like I say, I went pretty much old school, and like I say, anything with the 80s heartbeat was getting mentioned today. Sorry.
Anything that I could put into the fantasy genre, that's what was getting mentioned today. Because I've really struggled.
But yeah.
One of mine, probably the only one I've got, was Inkheart.
Yes.
Brendan Fraser was in it. Andy Serkis was in it. again based on a book series.
Charlotte, you don't have to say that
I
anymore.
know, sorry. It's one of mine and my sister's favorite series ever. It's brilliant, and it's Paul Bettany's in it.
I've never heard of it.
Not looking like Paul Bettany at all. Helen Mirren's in it. Jim Broadbent's in it.
Oh my god, I have never heard of this film.
It went really under the radar, but it is brilliant. I absolutely loved it. Brendan Fraser plays a man who, in the most heartbreaking of ways, discovers he has a power where when he reads stories aloud, he brings characters from those stories into our world.
Yeah.
But the cost is that somebody from our world goes into the story. And the first time he reads aloud to his baby daughter, somebody comes out of the book, but his wife goes into it. And
oh my gosh.
He spends decades trying to find this book again to try and read his wife out of the book. And Andy Serkis plays the bad guy, and it's just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
No, very nice. Like I said, it sounds. I know. I remember it because it came out around about the same time as the Page Master or something with Macaulay Culkin.
Oh no!
No, this is 2003.
Yeah,
from what it's just said on Wikipedia.
I think it was 2000s.
I was just about to say that there's your superpower until you went into more detail. No, that's not a nice superpower.
No,
certainly.
Brilliant.
Oh my gosh.
Let's hope next week's doesn't turn into the midget orgy that, like I say, with Nutty Up North made up. With the Munchkins going crazy there, especially with them two still banging on about it in the chat.
Oh, they're still going on.
My God, these two.
Yeah, but like I say, thank you for everyone coming in. Like I say, thank you too. I really enjoyed that one as well. Like, to be honest, I'll be honest, that was probably one of the easiest picks for me. It was right up my street. I knew which ones were going to be on the list. So I'm quite happy that I can say some of this familiar. Next week we are going back to TV shows. I believe we're talking about Scrubs.
Is that next week?
I think that's next week's one. Yeah,
right.
I think we changed it around a bit. So next week is going to be talking about Scrubs. So we're going to have a nerd talk about how we enjoyed Scrubs and like the TV show. Then I think Donna's coming back with Jake after that to talk about Pixar movies, and then we've got round about the 24th of April. So when are you going away, Sam?
I think that's the one, Media. I think that's no, it's not. It's the 1st.
So the 1st, that's the one Games turns into movies. So that's
where Charlotte will be taking my job for the day.
Cool. So that's with Jake and Grant again for that one. So yes, so thank you everyone for.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Sorry, I'm just laughing because Michael's just suggesting top 5 Munchkin orgies for a pick.
She is for the end.
Hey, beautiful.
She's just climbed up on my knee for the end.
Hello, sweetheart.
Look at her. What a princess.
Yes. So thank you everyone who's joined the group over the last, like I say, we're almost at 4,600 now. So I think we're only a couple of members off.
My God.
Like I say, same bat, and don't forget to join Charlotte's book club as well. It's fantasy this.
It's fantasy this month. It is.
As well, so fantasy novels of people are dealing with. But yeah, thank you guys, and like I say, same bat time, same bat channel.
Stay nerdy, everyone. Bye.
Bye.